The walls of time are breaking down. You need to listen. The only way to save the universe. Watch Type 40.
Here we are again with your live stream Doctor Who show, Type 40 Live, materializing here on the Spacebook channel, whatever time stream or time zone you're joining us from, and whether you're new to the show or a long-standing screen time traveler, welcome. Big welcome. Yeah, this is Type 40 Live, hitting your screen in real time with our brand of interdimensional content and conversation here on YouTube and Facebook and across all major podcatchers too. As always, in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is where we talk, we geek out, we rant and rave about the world's longest running, best loved sci-fi and fantasy TV series and the whole Whoniverse around it, both on and off screen. I'm Dan Hadley. Where am I? I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. And whoever you are, we'll find out in a couple of minutes. Make yourselves comfy. Put your feet up. If you've got something, well, if you've got something, you can put them up on. The cat or a family member, I don't know. Just go nuts and relax at the same time as we get deep into the Whoniverse and catch up with the panel. Quite a weekend we had, and we're going to tell you all about it. Well, not all. Mostly all about it. Let's bring them on. Yeah, we'll bring them on right now. I think, actually, first of all, I've got to remind you that, yeah, if you are on Facebook, what have you got to do? Hit the little blue link on Facebook. That will tell StreamYard who you are through the magic of Facebook, and then StreamYard will tell us. We'll all be on first name terms, and the good times will roll once again. Show 101. Let's get into it. Right, we've got who's here first. Make ourselves comfortable. We have as fresh as a daisy and as colourful as always, Mr. Simon Horn.
Hello, Dan. Yeah, I'm not sure as I am actually fresh as a daisy. I've just had one of those days that's been a bit hectic and stressful, and you name it. So I feel I'm flagging a little bit tonight. So that I put on a nice flowery shirt and and big it up because it's summer. So I'm probably doing my JNT bit in a way. He didn't really go in for, he went in for flowery shirts, but they were what is it about a shirt that makes it Hawaiian as opposed to flowery? That's a really interesting question.
I think the background colour has to be a limeish sort of colour.
Okay.
Has to be brighter, has to be next to fluorescent. So a pink, a purple, a green. I don't think you can have a Hawaiian shirt with a white backdrop, although I could be wrong. Any genuine Hawaiians watching, of course, in the live chat on YouTube and Facebook, you're going to have a better idea than I am. So please let us know in the comments section. We're bound to get round to that.
Yeah, is this a Hawaiian shirt or is it just a flowery? Is it just a wallpaper shirt?
Well, you say you're feeling a little tender. Is it because you haven't recovered from the weekend yet?
Well, it could well be that I haven't recovered from the weekend because it was a busy old weekend, to say the very least.
It was. We're going to tell them all. I've had people messaging me saying, "You're going to show us some pictures. You're going to tell us about it."
Of course we are.
Of course we are. We're going to chill out and relax, as well as catch up on the news and whatever. And I'll say your place, because you were a host for the weekend. Your place is still standing, though. We can,
It is.
we can clarify, can't we?
It's just about still standing. I think we kind of rocked and rolled over the weekend at my place, it was renamed Casa de Simon over the weekend for reasons that I just daren't tell you, because we'll probably be closed down. But it was a great weekend.
Well, if he won't tell us, maybe Charlotte Shields will. What do you think? Let's bring her on and find out.
I'm going to be nice. Oh. Simon was a lovely host. Why would I tell?
Oh, you're very, very kind. You were lovely guests. We had for people that haven't got a clue what we're talking about. Yeah, we had a. Well, it wasn't even a reunion because we've never actually met before. It's only ever been digitally, and I think we've all each of us met others individually, but we've never actually been.
I hadn't met any of you.
You've never met any of us.
I hadn't met any of you physically.
So you didn't actually know we existed at all. We might have just been avatars. It's just possible.
Well, as we joked, I had to tell my family they're real people I'm going to see. Like, I'm going to be fine.
But we're not going to chop her up into little pieces. And
no, that was a joke. That's
worry.
Like they're lovely people. I talk to them for how long now on a Thursday night.
Now we do have other people who say they're going to join us. Where they all are, I have no idea. Maybe they're slightly hungover as well. But I did wonder, Simon, if your place was still standing, or whether it looked a little bit like the Doctor Who movie.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because after everybody had gone, I did spend the rest of the afternoon and evening on Sunday just sort of tidying up everything, because it was all good. This isn't a complaint at all. It was all brilliant. It was just, we had a good time, and so there was a lot of stuff about it. It needed tidying up, simple as that. But it was all good fun. It was the best weekend.
As long as you didn't have to change the desktop theme there. Of course, this is the console room that was created, wasn't it, by the human known as Doctor Who and his granddaughter, a typical sort of bumbling mad scientist from some sleepy little suburb, by the look of it, in England, in Britain in the 1960s. Like a lot of mad scientists, though, you'd think if he could create a space-time capsule, he could have invented first the cable tie. Thought of that, did they?
Can you imagine the health and safety on that particular TARDIS now? I mean, look at it. You'd have to do risk assessments.
That honestly makes me think of the Crystal Maze, the original one. Like all the rooms looked like that. Especially, I think they had like a spaceship theme for one of the bits.
Yeah, they did.
It makes me think of that.
It is very Crystal Maze. I can still remember the first time I saw this TARDIS on television. When I first saw Doctor Who and the Daleks on TV, and I just remember being gutted because I loved those white roundels so much, and I'd come to know them so well over the years. And so suddenly to be presented with this was really, really disappointing. It's a mess. I mean, of course, I've grown to love it. For nostalgia reasons, but it's not a good set, is it? Let's be honest. It's a mess.
No, it looks like the back room at some sort of theatre somewhere. But maybe it was. Maybe I don't know.
Who knows? I still don't actually know why they never used the original. I'm assuming that they just didn't get permission, but I can't understand why they wouldn't have done it. If they got permission to use the Daleks and the police box and the characters, I don't understand why they wouldn't have got permission to use the console room. Anyway, there we go.
No, me neither. Maybe they thought that they could do better with the rethought origin as well. We'll find out one day, won't we? We'll get to the bottom of that somewhere. Speaking about finding out, yes, we've tracked somebody else down. She's here, everybody. She's here. And chuckling at me and adjusting her dress, so I'll give her a few seconds. She's back. We've got Shah.
No, bring her on now.
Stop laughing already.
just to trip her up.
Every touch on every single time. Adjusting my dress. Yeah, great. Put that in the minds of people. Why don't you? Hello.
No, we really do look like ABBA at the moment. We really do look like the Take a Chance on Me promo video, don't we?
I don't know the moves. I'm sorry to disappoint. I can't pull my weight in that one, but
I think it's probably best we don't try.
Yeah, I think we'll gloss over that before people expect us to sing. We'll go and see what people are doing in the live chat there. See if we can catch up with those now. See what's going on there. Where are we? What do I need? I need this.
Welcome to Type 40.
I love that little lad, isn't he cute?
He's lovely, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bless
We need
his
him on
heart.
the
I think we do, but until he gets here, I think we can make do with the people in the live chat here. There's a lot of them already. First on the door there is Crimpling Doubloon with Ahoy, shipmates.
Ahoy, Crimpling.
Sorry, I was really late to the party there, wasn't I?
I always think of enlightenment whenever Crimpling.
See, if we can't even do a salute, what chance would we stand with those dabber routines?
Oh,
It's not going to happen, is it? Greetings from San Francisco, says the time scales, and with his little icons there. Good stuff. Good to have you back here, time scales. Kelly's here too from the sun coast of Florida, where it's very hot and very sunny.
Oh, I'm very envious. I love Florida. My favorite state in the USA. Love Florida.
Never been.
We have been, I think we've, over the last week or two, we thought we were in a bit of a mini heat wave, but I think it never really got above 27, apparently in the States. According to Vanessa, who messaged me the other day. Vanessa,
it was
one shoulder. Like 90. You've hurt your shoulder?
I burnt one shoulder.
I
don't know what happened to the other one, but
I was going to say, was one arm like out the window and the other wasn't?
No, I have no idea, but Cassidus
Only
will
you
do
could
that
burn
to
one
you.
shoulder.
It wasn't from the weekend, was it? Richard Brooks is here with Ahoy's all round. Ahoy's are catching on, everybody. This is where to come to get your Ahoy. Peter Harrington says, hello, greetings from downtown Liverpool. Downtown Liverpool. I didn't realise there was an uptown and a downtown.
Only locals know it.
Should we start singing Downtown as well? We're about to cover out. We might as well go the full.
I remember the last time we had a sing along special, and then Shah was helpless after about 10 minutes. Happy Thursday, everybody, from Retro.
Happy Thursday.
Thursday, back to you, Gary. Good to have you here.
Again.
Evening, everyone. From Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, all, says Grand Moff Miranda.
That's a really scary avatar, isn't it? There, that's
yeah. She's
very charming, is it?
We're in trouble with that avatar.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I think she's trying to give us a bit of drama. Yeah, I think it's drama.
Yeah, evil eye. Looks good anyway. It's cool.
It's blinded. Gary Browser's here as well. Atting everybody except us.
Everyone.
Oh dear,
come on,
don't mind me, Gary.
You're better than us, Gary.
The Darren Zone. At last he can depend on the Darren Zone. The Darren Zone with his hello, the echoing hello. Darren
Hello.
Zone. Simon Ashley says, evening all.
Evening all.
Hello.
Oh, evening.
Who else to see? They're all chatting amongst themselves, which is what we love to see. Tune, says Richard Brooks, and some musical notes. And we've hey everyone from our mate Adam.
Hello,
There.
Adam. Hey, Adam.
Popping his head out from the Geeks handbag. Now, he could
Hello,
be
Adam.
mid-Atlantic. I know he's flying back from Dallas today to an undisclosed location somewhere in Great Britain. So, safe trip, Adam. Hope to have you back soon at some point when you can manage it. Adam was a guest on the last 3 of our shows. So, to be fair to him, he probably does need a detox, I think, Charlotte.
Needs a break. Let's be honest. Let's be fair.
Talk of the devil. And she, sorry, Vanessa. Vanessa's in the live chat there with a hi all.
Shocking.
Hello, Vanessa.
And Time Lord Victorious. Dan arriving from the Time Vortex.
Ooh.
Is that this Dan, or is Dan your name as well, Time Lord Victorious? Thanks for joining us in your Time Lord robes. Raymond Williams here as well. Hail the chat. So's Woodhouse 122. Evening all.
It's popping everyone's there. I love it. I'm going through it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I can't get to the bottom of this before it jumps again. Let's do tell us all, Dan. So this is Adam. Yeah, he wants all the gory details, I think, of our excursion over the weekend. Evening Space Bookers at the Space Book, says Wendology.
Hey, Wendy.
Classic 80s fanboys here too. Carl with a good evening, Space Bookers.
Oh, look at them all coming in for the gossip. I love it.
I know the saloon doors are banging like that, aren't they? As everybody's coming in. Yeah. The Hawaiian debate. Now, before you came on, we were discussing what makes a shirt Hawaiian, Shah. Have you any idea whether my good friend Simon's beautiful shirt there, does that qualify as being Hawaiian?
No. But I don't
But
really
why
know.
not? This is what we need to know.
Well, I mean, I'm no fashion, what do you call it, fashionista, whatever they're called. I don't know. I used all my, or even with my 8 outfits, I counted out when I got back. fact 8 for 2 days. But for me, a Hawaiian shirt is one that it's a barbecue shirt, is what I'll call it. It's just got loads of floral patterns on it. Yeah, there may be a pineapple or two. Who knows?
I would say the difference is like you've got quite small flowers that are quite delicate, whereas if I think of Hawaiian, I think of quite big print sort of flowers.
Could be.
I don't think the flowers. I think for it to be a Hawaiian shirt as well, it can't just be flowers. You have to have a pineapple on there. You have to have a consumable as well. You have
like a drink, something that you can eat. Yeah.
There's no consumables apart from some strawberry yogurt that I dropped down as I was having my tea. Retro Doc assures me it's a Polynesian shirt. Retro Doc, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
Just outed himself as a
style is Hawaiian shirt to me.
Yeah, exactly, and this we just don't think is quite JNT style-y.
Yeah,
I think you should go
Gary Browser says it could be a TNT shirt. Boom, a fashion bomb. Simon Horton fashion bomb.
Do you think Gary actually means a JNT shirt? I don't know. Maybe he does mean a TNT shirt. It could be a TNT shirt. Maybe if I like the blue touch paper, just round the back here, I will go up.
Have we lost the plot already? Are we there already?
Yeah, we're already there.
We're already there. Okay.
Hello, Type 40 Live family, says Mark Milford. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
What's kept you, Mark? Oh, wow, Simon, what an image, says Vanessa.
Is that good? I'm not sure. Hopefully it is. I know it is, Vanessa.
I think we'll take it. We'll take it as a good.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. Swinging a cat would be calamitous, says Peter Harrington. It's good advice for any day.
That was, I think, that was in relation to the. I think that was in relation to the Peter Cushing TARDIS. That's what I think.
And cat would have a field day, though.
Come on, Peter. That's been all of 5 minutes ago. You don't expect me to remember that, do you?
Cats would really enjoy that.
It's neither here nor there. Shah, says Retro Doc. So does Gary Akers. Shah, chameleon of Type 40. You are here.
What does he mean by that?
I'm not sure by that, but we need clarification on that.
But I'll take it. I've been called much worse.
I'm sure it's a compliment.
I'm sure it is.
We've got a tip here. It's not the one about bending over in a short skirt. This one comes from Crimpling Doubloon, who says that Roberta Tovey appears in Not in Front of the Children on Radio 4 Extra on Saturdays. I think 2 episodes are currently available on BBC Sounds. Not in Front of the Children. That sounds like an old show.
We have to salute Crimpling Doubloon, because Crimpling Doubloon is just a mine of knowledge about what Doctor Who stars are on TV this coming week. Incredible. And often, if you're not aware of this, very often Crimpling will brilliantly put all these comments on the comment section on the YouTube video the next day. So if you've never been aware of this before, go back and have a look at this video tomorrow or today, depending on whether you're watching it tomorrow as opposed to today, if you see what I mean, in a timey-wimey kind of way. Just go and have a look. And Crimpling Doubloon, I've actually guaranteed, would have put some comments about which Doctor Who stars are on TV this week. Brilliant.
And they're like Wikipedia level detail.
Oh, it's brilliant. You get to know what channel, when, and as you say, Wikipedia detail about who's in and what other programs they were in. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Well done, Crimpling.
Richard Herndal
to watch it.
He'll say that Richard Herndal appears like 15 minutes in. Blink and you'll miss him. It's just that kind of thing. It's incredible.
Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant.
Hi, everyone, says TARDIS TV.
Hello, TARDIS TV.
Nice to have you back. And Garbage says, hi, Garbage says, OBS,
hello, Garbage.
1 burnt shoulder.
Honestly, and it's already faded as well. Like, it's really embarrassing.
Bless her, Sarah over the weekend did burn both shoulders.
She's burned a bit more than her shoulders.
And the only other thing I'm permitted to tell you about the weekend at this moment until Dan brings the subject up is that one person left a dress here at Casa de Simon, and I couldn't possibly tell you who left a dress at Casa de Simon.
It's better than leaving my underwear, though, isn't it? So actually, I think it was a good
It's a lovely little black dress. It's a lovely little black dress, and it fits me very well.
You may wear it if you want. If you want to cosplay as me, you can.
Dan, get the memberships going, and that can be a video for the membership. Simon in the dress.
It's available on my OnlyFans, don't worry.
Oh, they're foaming at the mouth. They want to know more. They want to see more. You know what to do and where to do it.
Greetings, I am K9. If you have an inquiry and Siri or Alexa cannot help, maybe I can. Have you ever wondered if time travel is possible? Or what can a sonic screwdriver do? I may have the answers. Please leave your questions in the comments below.
Speaking about shirts, Simon, this has caught my eye this week, and this is absolutely perfect, really, for what we've just been talking about. This is a pretty picture of all of its own. This is credited to Paul Michael. This is his own shirt, which he's had made. It's a one-off item, a bespoke item. Though I would imagine if interest continues, he may take orders. So this man's going out in public like this.
There is a massive spider that is crawled. It just literally go behind my bed.
Oh no! Go off camera. Go and get it out.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I need this to distract me.
We'll distract you. Just stare. Just stare into the shirt.
I'm scared, and I'm 200 miles away from you.
Oh, you're
stare
fine.
into the shirt.
It's probably about that big, in all fairness. But carry on.
Yeah. Still
apologies.
Stare at the shirt and it'll take your mind off it. So this is an assortment of Doctor Who cover artworks from various novels from all over the world. You know, there's French editions in there as well and American editions. It's all going on from both the new and the classic series. Everything's in there in the mix. Would you go out in public wearing this one, Shah? Since you've left one outfit at Simon's, would you grab hold of this? Just say, I've got to go out in something. I've put this on. What would you let people see you in this one?
Of course, I'm a ridiculous Doctor Who geek. Why would I not say? I actually don't know. There's a lot going on, isn't there? But why wouldn't I?
I love it.
I saw this. Simon, don't take this the wrong way, but I saw this and sort of thought of you.
Yeah. I can see why you would. I love it. I'd definitely go out wearing that. I love the fact that. Is that the back? That's going to be the back.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, isn't it?
No slacking. Yeah.
No. See, it's what's really cool about it isn't just target books. I mean, there's the Key to Time, which was the hardback. Then there's the script book there for the Power of the Daleks in there. There's New Who books with David Tennant. There's the crossword book there. It's just a mind meld of Doctor Who books. I love it.
I think Paul's had a lot of fun putting that together.
I like it. Inferno. What else have we got? All sorts.
Yeah, I can see that he's even got the original. There's the original cover for Doctor Who, the Crusaders, on there, sort of top rightish from the hardback, the original Muller hardback. He's really done his research on this one.
There are some deep dives as you get into the armpits. What about you, Charlotte? I know that you say that you like to dress sensitively, don't you? Depending on the weather. Would you ever go out in anything like that?
See, I'm terrible usually. I put like something warm when it's hot and vice versa. Not shirt. I think that would look gorgeous if it was a bag. I'd definitely wear that if it was like a bag with all that on. I think that would look lovely as just enough detail that us would look at it and go, wow, I can, like Simon could go, I know that book.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think I want to make Ian one. He'd love that. I think we've probably blown people's screens out with this glorious site. Ada McGeer says, I've got a villa in Florida and I'm finally going back for the first time since 2019 in just 2 weeks' time. So
I know you, Aidan. Take me with you. Come on. You don't need that big villa all to yourself, do you? Come on. You know you want somebody in a flowery shirt along with you, don't you?
The place won't look complete, will it, without somebody in a flowery shirt? Time Lord 2023 2023 even says, hello, the Spacebook team, one of the best YouTube channels on here. Well, thank you for telling us, but don't tell us. That is lovely. Don't tell us, though. Tell them. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and hit the cloister bell for whatever's coming next. More live streams and podcasts about Doctor Who and other things now and again. So, yeah, thanks for that, Time Lord. It is appreciated. Simon. No, he's not. He's not. Well, I can't possibly say that, can I? Vanessa's name checking. Yeah, Petula Clark there with the downtown song.
Petula Clark. That was the name I was trying to bring to my brain with downtown, of course.
We've got a Facebook user in the house. You, says Facebook user. Now, this is where, you see, you haven't hit the little blue link. You see, we don't know who you are, Facebook user. You've got to hit the little blue link. Facebook tells StreamYard who you are. StreamYard tells us, and we can call you by your first name rather than Facebook user or FU, which sounds even worse. So please consider doing that, everybody. Lord Thoth's there with a clap, clap, clap. I think
I just have to bring up while we're bringing up comments. Gary Browser's comment from 819 It explains the link to Chameleon for Shah. Chameleon arrived in the TARDIS and just disappeared. It's just we've missed her. Oh. There you go. There's the Chameleon.
Look at her. She's in bits now. Thanks.
That's sweet, isn't
it?
Like
Gary.
Adam says.
Adam says, yes, I'm back in the UK now. Arrived this morning, and a Type 40 live stream is just what the doctor ordered.
Perfect.
Where in the UK are you? Where are you?
Can you tell us, Adam?
Yeah. Maybe,
just
Union.
Well, I don't think he's far from Ian David Diaz. So, yeah, that's probably why he's not said. I vote Hawaiians as Eastlyn Burkholder. The debate still rages on. You could get this is Vanessa's come up with what you need to make that shirt Hawaiian. It could be a bit of celery.
That's exactly what I think of when I think of Hawaiian. I like the nod there, Vanessa. I like the nod.
It's Simon Ashley suggesting perhaps some pizza on there.
Look, if it's really going to make everybody feel better, I will just go and get a can of pineapple, open it up, and just sort of put it on my shoulders as lapels or something.
That's a different show, Simon.
Okay.
Each to their own.
Spoil sport.
Our crack live chat there are on it and say, and Mark Milford says that Hawaiian shirt can often be worn for casual or smart casual events. These shirts are printed with floral patterns, usually feature short sleeves and have a collar. Oh, we didn't think about that. It could be the sleevage that's letting you down there if that's not short sleeve.
You know what, Simon? Ignore me. Maybe it is a Hawaiian shirt after all.
Who knows? Who can say?
Who can possibly say?
Only JNT can say, and bless him, he's not here to confirm one way.
Yeah, Tony L's in as well. Hi, everyone. A Hawaiian shirt is to do with the collar. Hawaiian shirts normally have a dart-style collar.
Wow.
I wonder what he means.
Wow, we're really getting deep dive onto the Hawaiian shirts, aren't we?
This is smart dressed lot here in our live chat.
You always cause a storm with your outfits on here, Simon.
What can you do?
It's like, what do people come for? Doctor Who rumours? Nah. Hawaiian
Nah.
talk.
Food, clothes, weather reports. That's what they come for. Hi, says the Prime Ward Infectant. I don't know what the Prime Ward Infectants joins us from. How's the rash, by the way, Infectants? Is it clearing up?
Oh, hello. I'm back.
Get some figure on it. Peter Harrington, he's shocked. God, blimey. Yes, okay. Ooh, what's this? Yeah, geeky dresses and Retro Doc. He wants that shirt. Well, too bad, Retro Doc. Gary, you've got to fight Paul Michael for it. But if you go and harass him on social media, I think he is getting quite close to putting these into mass production. So yeah, another person reaching out and bothering him. You may catch him on a good day. You may get somewhere with that. I don't know. It's not for me to say. But whilst I've got you here, I do want to say this. Thank you, everybody, for the support for our 100th live stream last week. The show's done really, really well. So that was the last time we were here. A bit of a party atmosphere, it has to be said. And it was kind of unique and a real milestone, obviously, but we couldn't have done it without you, without that input there in the live chat and your engagement and your support. And thank you for sharing the show too. There was more shares than ever last time, so thank you for spreading the word and for being here. Some of you I know have been here for probably the full 100. It may seem like more. It has just been 100, and here we are with show 101. Lots to talk about, lots of plans. Watch this space and all that. And just enjoy yourselves and keep the comments coming. What next? Yes, Doctor Who. Doctor Who is filming. We'll be talking about that later on. All the filming locations. It's mostly in Cardiff and Bristol and places like that, isn't it? That's where the party's at for them. But we here at Type 40, we know where the real party's at, don't we, Simon? Well, where it was the other day, it was here, wasn't it? It was in Lichfield.
Yeah.
Lichfield in
Oh, that's
Staffordshire.
beautiful.
Yep, that's where I live.
Staffordshire in England, in the United Kingdom. And would you just describe it as a historic place, Simon? Well, before you got there, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yes, more historic now. Oh, it's very, very historic in that we've got Roman history, Viking history, medieval history. There's lots and lots of history all tied up in Lichfield. Just having a little look. I'm just peering into the photo there. You can't see my house.
You can't see us.
Yeah,
you haven't got the washing out, have you?
No, I've got my bins out though. No, I'm just off on that photo. But anyway, there's the cathedral. You can see the cathedral in the middle of the picture there. We have the only cathedral in England that has 3 spires. So there you go. Get that.
Gorgeous. If anyone is around Lichfield, wasn't it just? It's stunning. Go and check it out. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful little city. It's a very small city. It's more like just a market town. Excuse me, but it's absolutely fabulous place. I love living here. Very, very lucky. Beautiful part of the world. So yeah, I'm a lucky boy. What can I say?
And
we were
obviously
very
the
lucky to be there as well. It's lovely.
We were. I hope the reputation of the place has not been sullied after a 48-hour hit.
Well, there's a lot of houses gone up for sale on my street since the weekend. That's all I'll say.
So yes, some of you out there know. I think we talked about it a little on social media, but this weekend just gone, we made good on a promise, didn't we? That we made to one another, I suppose, to get together as much as we could, as many of us as we could, at the same place in the same real world location at some point, ideally this year. As you said, that some of us had met individually. I think most of us had met individually in various combinations and at one end of the country or another. But Type 40 Live had yet to have a proper social. We wanted to put that right. And it was just by chance, really, wasn't it? It wasn't for the 100th show. It just happened that way.
Yeah, it was perfect, actually. It was all down to Shah originally. She was the one that said, I'm going to come and visit you in Lichfield. And I said, okay, you're on. And if we're going to do that, then let's do the proper thing. We'll do the social. And it just so happened to be that it coincided with our 100th show, which just seemed absolutely the perfect time to be doing it. And it was fabulous.
Yeah, and although the third Doctor, he was frustrated at being just limited to planet Earth, we were quite happy with that, weren't we, Charlotte?
Yeah, and the fact that we could actually all get there was quite amazing, considering it's like work and everything else going on. It was amazing that, like I said, we managed to do it.
Yeah. It's one of those things that sounds like a good idea, but then to actually pull it all together, because we're all leading busy lives and we're all in different parts of the country, it was always going to be a bit of a logistical nightmare to pull it together. But we did it. It just happened.
I want to do it again. It was such
We're definitely doing it again.
Weekend.
Well, no, literally at the end of Saturday, weren't we, Charlotte? We were like, right, what time of the year can we do it next? We were like,
we've already said we've said we will do another one before Christmas.
It's absolutely going to happen. And yet they did let us into the cathedral and outside of it, didn't they? That was quite an experience. Yeah, there we are outside as well, quenching our thirsts. So we were out and about in the town, weren't we, on the Saturday, and then socializing.
I got little Lenny here. Here's Lenny.
A bit of a pub meal for us all. So yeah, we ate, drank, and we were merry. Shaw got some fresh air, didn't you?
Just a bit. Oh, that is not the most flattering photo, but I'll take it. Oh, Ian looks great in there.
Yeah, there was Ian minus his hat for a little while, and all of us out there, we weren't scrumping, as somebody said.
There we are. There, that's the back garden. You can see that I did warn everybody before they got here that the place is like a building site, and it is, because it's covered in scaffold.
Lenny.
There's little Lenny. Ian loves
Lenny. Got a lot of fuss, didn't
he?
There's Sarah and Shaw hanging out in the greenery. Oh, there we are back at the meal again. So this is an assortment of snaps that were taken over that 48-hour period at various places over Lichfield.
It was just fantastic to meet up, and the weather was, as you can see, very, very kind to us. And we talked about lots of Doctor Who and lots of other stuff about not Doctor Who. Incredibly, I know that might sound amazing. We did talk about stuff other than Doctor Who. But it was just a fantastic weekend, and we went all over Lichfield. We did it, didn't we? We had meals out. We had coffees, we had drinks, we had strawberry daiquiris. It was all good. It was just fantastic. Lovely to meet up.
Yeah, it was. I think that Sarah and Ian had never met before, had they? And Charlotte, you hadn't met anybody, had you?
No, I was just. It was really weird because I'm so used to seeing you all on screen, and it was just like physically actually being able to hug you and talk to you. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And there was lots of hugging going on.
We said this. Oh yeah, I'm a massive hugger. I did warn a few people. But the thing was, like, by the end of that first day, it felt like we'd done it before. That was what was so crazy and lovely. It just felt like, God, we've already. It felt like we always did this, and it was just another outing we were on, not the first one.
Yeah.
It did. And it's one of those things, isn't it, where you just never know. You know, it's all well and good for us to meet on these kind of video chats, but you never know. We might have met and we might have absolutely hated each other. We might have got on terribly. But as I've said before, what you see with all of us is what you get. We are in real life as we are on here. And so you can see from that, it was just a blast. We just had fun.
Yes. It was the best. I loved every single second of it. I really, really did. And honestly, I can only say thank you so much to you and Simon for hosting
very, very welcome.
Beautifully. You are wonderful, and
very welcome.
I felt like I should have paid. Genuinely.
No, you were wonderful. You were all wonderful house guests. It was wonderful to have you all. It's just fabulous. Just the best. The best. Lawn mower for Christmas, says Darren Bradley. Yeah, thanks, Darren. You're quite right.
I've offered to go and do the garden.
Like
I was going to say though.
Go on, Charlotte.
I was going to say we have to tell the story on the first day when we were coming out of Simon's house, because most of us were there, and we were meeting up with Dan. So we were like, right, we'll walk up. We'll walk.
Yeah, Dan was walking. Dan was walking from the station at this point, wasn't he?
And then
I don't know if this is
and
going
we
to make
literally
sense.
were walking on one side of the road, and we were like, why can we not see Dan yet? And like you were like, God, he should be here by now. And we went, well, there's a fellow over there. That can't be Dan.
That's definitely not Dan.
We
said, that's not Dan.
Yeah.
And it was Dan.
It was like, we were like, hang on a minute. I think it was more just the fact that we were so convinced it wasn't you, but I've met you, and so has Simon. So how did we get this so wrong?
Well, Dan came very, very smart. We were all in shorts and t-shirts at the time, and Dan at the time came in a shirt and was very, very smart.
Very cool.
Yeah, I completely misread the dress code. Well, I didn't think it was going to be as hot as it was, to tell you the truth. So yeah, on the second day, I came back. I more than made up for it in my running gear. There, I came in shorts and my Doctor Who t-shirt, which somebody was asking about in the live chat there. So that's how that went. That's how that went down. So yeah, we got a bit of a name check from the second day there. And how could I couldn't possibly leave him out, could I? Of course he was there too. We got Lenny. He got a lot of photo opportunities.
Little Lenny.
He got a lot of photo opportunities, didn't he, Lenny? He got a lot of fuss as well.
I did kind of joke before everybody got here. I was sort of joking with my other half, saying, you do realise everybody's only actually coming to meet Lenny. That's the only reason people are coming. Because people just wanted to see the little tyke, didn't they? They just wanted to see you. That's all.
I came in, you answered the door, I walked in, and I think I just sort of was like, oh yeah, hey Simon, yeah, great. And then yes, I just picked him straight up. Yeah.
And Retro Doc was asking who was the first to get drunk. I think, who was the first to get drunk? We drank a lot of Prosecco on the Saturday night, didn't we? We did have a lot of Prosecco.
But I don't think any of us got proper drunk, did we?
No, we were all still quite compos mentis.
Well, nobody fell into their meals on the Saturday night, did we?
That's a good point.
No, but I did book us into the side room. That there is a side room, everybody, because I kind of thought we'd probably better put us in a side room because we're just going to drive all the other diners to distraction with talks about blue balls on Daleks and the like. So that's why we're in the side room.
I'm glad you carried it on because my God, yeah, okay.
A good time was had by all. It did feel like, Simon, like as if your family was hosting ours, and it did feel like a family get together for me. It was just as you described, Charlotte. It was like I say I'd met everybody except you, Charlotte, in various places, but it just felt really, really natural and really relaxed, and we had a good chinwag about Doctor Who and about life, and we explored the cathedral, didn't we, and the general area. So yeah, it was fantastic, and obviously we're several years on from the entire world sort of being shut down, and I think, in all seriousness, I think that affected a lot of people's social lives.
Yes.
And their perception of the world and their friendships too. Even people who saw each other regularly became kind of distant friends, really. And so it felt long overdue for me to connect. I mean, but Simon, I hadn't seen you for several years, had I?
Since before COVID, and yet we used to have regular meetups, but hadn't met up since COVID happened.
So, and I know there's a lot of people out there who still, in all seriousness, struggle to socialise and maybe even wear masks and things like that. And we did talk about that a little as well, didn't we? But I think that what I've come away from it with is not just that I've got some fabulous friends, genuine friends here at Type 40, but that life is for living. Friendships are important, and to get out there and to take back normal life is. Highly recommended. Obviously, especially while the sun's shining. Apparently, we're on the crest of a proper heat wave again over the next couple of weeks. So, whilst I'm not going to be pestering Simon and Lenny, then don't get me wrong. Even though I would imagine Lichfield is going to be beautiful, I will be getting out there a lot more, and finding some other places to lower the tone of, Shah.
That doesn't sound like us.
And it's funny.
No.
It's funny because
we were very well behaved. But
I thought we were. It's funny though because we did talk about watching some Doctor Who together, and we never got time to do it because we were just having too much fun doing other stuff.
Look, I was fine with doing it, but I had a glass of prosecco and I thought I drank it, and then I looked at the coffee table again, and it magically had refilled.
And that
happened probably about 5 times over, and I was very confused, but not complaining, of course. So,
you kept drinking
prosecco. Yeah, that prosecco fairy was she was out, but then
it kept going.
I was going to say for you, because my parents also were like, "How long did your drinks last, Charlotte?" I said, "Well, my one alcohol I had at the pub lasted the whole meal."
Yeah.
And then when we got back, my one glass of, I'm not going to say the drinks I can't on stream. Like Charles saw me try and say that fizzy rubbish, as my mum calls it, that fizzy rubbish. And that lasted me about the whole night as well.
Yeah, which is fair, but I know me and Sarah had a bottle of rosé that we both forgot about as well. So actually, if you want to know who the most drunk was, I would probably say me and Sarah, because we've already done it, and then we were like, "Oh, should we get another one?" And then everyone was like, "No, we're going home." Like, relax.
And we didn't go to we didn't call it a night on Saturday until about 1:30, which is just way past my bedtime. That's just ridiculous.
Wow, scandalous. Lovely place, says Tony L. He's obviously been to Lichfield in the past.
If there's anybody out there in the chat that's in Lichfield, let me know, and we'll meet up and have coffees and cakes and the like.
There we go. Garbage says the cathedral is actually Simon's house, but he won't admit it when you ask him. It's where you will find a black dress too. Peter Harrington asks, was Lord Lichfield from Lichfield? Asks Peter Harrington.
Oh, that's a really good question. No, I don't think so. I think he's possibly just, maybe he was the Lord. I don't know. I'm going to find that one out for you. I'll let you know.
Darren Bradley says, one of my best buddies from school days lives in Lichfield.
Oh, no way.
There you go.
That's a small world, yeah.
Let me know who it is, Darren. I'll go and say hello to him or her.
Awesome picks, says Tony. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them.
No.
TARDIS Spider wishes that he could visit. Oh, I wish I could visit.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll one day. Never say never.
Yeah.
Adam says, loving the pics. So nice to see you all together, having fun in the sun.
We were.
Yeah.
We were.
Oh, we got to say thankful to some just strangers who literally took some of those photos.
Yeah.
Because obviously, so we could all see them, which is nice as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Several
Demanded.
thank yous actually. Come to think of it, I'd like to say thank you to obviously to. Oh, there we are.
There.
Aww.
That's other Simon.
Got the Simon.
That's my
Who
other
was
half.
present there, and obviously to Keith and to Chris as well.
Yay.
The most patient man is Chris. Bless him.
And obviously Keith,
Very
who recognised
lovely.
from Home Media Minefield, so they were there too, enjoying the revelry and the beautiful food that was on offer there.
We did a lot of eating, didn't we? We did do a lot of eating and a lot of drinking. We spent most of Sunday in the one restaurant, didn't we? In that outdoors restaurant, just spent the whole Sunday in there.
Obviously,
All good.
some people may be asking, where was my invite? Says Millie Gibson.
It was in the post, Billy. What can I do? What can I say?
Gary's asked twice now, so I'll just want to point that out if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because he said, Geek Rambles, I heard from Sarah, great, about you wrecking the cathedral gift shop.
Yes, we did.
Wrecking.
Well,
A little
I think that's a bit of a
exaggerated.
stretch.
it's a bit over, but nonetheless, do tell what happened in the cathedral shop, Shah.
Well, everyone's really mature, right? And having a great time. And in when I say it's beautiful,
right.
I mean it is stunning. This cathedral. There's so many, just the most gorgeous place. Anyway, we're all in there and we're all being very respectful. We're looking in the sort of museum bit and we're reading about stuff, and everyone's being very diplomatic. And then we get to the gift shop and everyone's having a little snoop, and then you just hear this crash. But I didn't mean to do a fourth Doctor, but basically I got really excited by a yo-yo.
As you do.
And I was playing with it and I was doing really well, and I was actually thinking no one's watching me be really good at this yo-yo, and the moment everyone turned around it just fell, and I don't think I broke it, but the moment everyone turned around it just had this bang, and because it's so big it echoed. So a lot, yeah.
Very, very high, wasn't it? We've seen where it reached its way up.
It was, yes. So that was that, Gary. It wasn't
Wasn't wrecked, but you made your mark. Let's just say you announced your presence.
People need to know who I was, as Garbage has just said in chat. Do you know who I am?
Lord Thoth says, next time I'm in England, I'll have to drop by.
Let me know when you do, Lord Thoth, and we'll meet up.
Any dancing, says Peter Harrington.
Sorry.
No dancing.
How did you dance?
No.
I couldn't stand. Never mind dance. Release the Litchfield cost, says Garbage.
And also, poor Dan, he had a bit of a trip on the Saturday night.
Oh,
so
I won't bore people with that.
Tired.
Yeah, as always, worse things happen at sea, everybody. There's a tale to be told probably another time about that. But yeah. Oh yes, there's lots of drama. There does tend to be drama wherever I go. I have to say, you should do a Type 40 convention, Jamie Knight. Well, it has been spoken about.
Yeah,
it was actually. We did speak about it extensively, and that's probably something best left alone for the time being as well. But watch this space. If not a convention, then something a little social. Just just leave it with us.
Never say never.
Leave it with us, Jamie. James Closet. Hey, he's here. Scott, I'd rather hang out with you guys than my father's side of the family for sure.
Oh.
Bless his heart.
Likewise.
Hashtag save the little black dress, says Gary Browser.
It's safe. Don't worry. It's safe over here. It's all right. It's okay. It's a holiday in Litchfield.
It wasn't a accident. I wanted to come back.
That's what it is.
No.
It's all coming out now.
Yeah.
What was the favourite tipple of choice? Asks Simon Ashley.
Prosecco.
I
think.
On Saturday night, yeah.
Prosecco on Saturday.
It must have been. I was craving a strawberry daiquiri, but it just went hitting the spot, and that Prosecco was great. So, yeah, I was more than happy with that.
Fantastic picks. A good time had by all? ? So, well, yeah, no question about it. Random.
Yeah.
How about a Type 40 cruise?
I'm
What do your sea legs like, Charlotte? Did you get seasick? Do you fancy this?
Oh, see, I don't know. I can be bad on buses, so I don't know if a boat would be any good.
Really?
Oh, the best.
It
I'd love to
depends,
do
if
that.
I've not slept.
Me too.
It makes me worse, if I'm being honest. So,
Well, if anyone's got a couple of grand free, do let me know, and I'll arrange it.
But this is what it kind of felt like, didn't it? It's that we were all together, all around the console, passing the wine, and trying to make trying to pretend that we didn't hear one another burp, that kind of thing. It was very much that kind of do, and yeah, it's making memories together.
The other doctor, the Meta Crisis doctor in the background, that's actually Simon going around refilling all the drinks.
All that is Simon.
Like,
All that is Simon, God love him. If any of us needed a train, there was like, oh, what train is it? What time? He was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. He switched several hats on us, didn't he? Over and over again. It was very impressive. God, I can't speak tonight. The organisational prowess of Simon Horn. Of course, if we want to get some more dates in the diary or the calendar, there you can tell it. We're getting midway through the year now, so you can tell this by the fact that the calendars have started to appear. The 2024 calendars, and we have the very first. This is certainly the first one I've seen of the official Doctor Who calendars for 2024. That's appeared. We've got the new Doctor Who 60 years logo there in the top left-hand corner. And all the doctors, for better or worse, are there clustered in the middle, and a bit of a key to time effect there on the packaging, Simon. I think that's what they're going for, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so. I just don't really like that. Is that the finished cover as opposed to just sort of temporary?
I'm afraid so.
Really, that just looks so uninspiring and so well. Actually, it's very, very uninspiring, isn't it? Or is it me? That's just really cheap and nasty cut and paste. Just stick them all down.
Well, for me, it's more they've just gone. For me, it's just they've gone. Oh, it's the diamond anniversary. Let's put a diamond on it. It's just, and like you said, the doctors have just been slapped on. There's no arrangement or finesse.
I mean, what do you think, Dan? As a sort of a graphic artist yourself, do you think that works as a layout and a design?
I think it's halfway there.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's halfway there. I think that this was probably put together pretty quick. And that if that's a new style guide that they've got, I think it could be, because there's a key line going around the TARDIS itself, even though that's obviously the old box. If this is the new style guide house dress on some of the merchandise that are coming, I do think it's a little uninspiring. It could be just for the anniversary. That could be like a diamond pattern and not the key to time, in all honesty.
That's what I think it is, honestly. I think it's more the anniversary theme. So maybe I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the stars is what we see more after the 60th has gone, because they seem to be using stars a lot in the background, if you've noticed.
There's a strong argument to say that really there are too many doctors now to feature them all on the cover of such items. I think that 15 is more than enough, and that when you've got to accommodate that many bodies as a designer, there's only so much that you can do with that, particularly if ideally they've got to all occupy equivalent space. So I think they've got a bit of. I don't think there's any need to do this. I think the current Doctor should, if when the show is at the height of a popularity and riding the current wave of pop culture, the current Doctor should be enough. And I think it probably through the 60 years, I know it's different when it's 60 years, but we've had riffs on this now for 4 or 5 years. They keep doing this. Obviously, they had to lean on the legacy because the stuff from the Whittaker era, it wouldn't sell with her on it, or certainly just her on it. So they had to bring on the rest of the squad. I hope that when Ncuti takes the keys properly, that this kind of design, this generic look, will become a thing of the past for a few years until the next anniversary, Simon. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just think it would have been, and I know they wouldn't do this, but I think it would have been lovely to give the centre spot to William Hartnell on the 60th year. That's what I would have done. And you could have had small sort of cameos of the other Doctors around Hartnell's face. I think that's what I would have done. And I know that people might argue, well, William Hartnell is not going to sell a calendar. Well, maybe not, but I'm not sure as that cover is going to sell it either, because as you say, it's just very, very busy. Julian Raxel says in the chat, it's very congested. Yeah, you're right, it is. It's just very congested. So I don't feel that that's going to sell it any better than if you put William Hartnell there. That's what I would have done. I think that would have been a nice thing
I
to
would
do.
imagine that most of the calendars will look like this, variations on this depending on the dimensions of the cover. And so get used to seeing this design on diaries and things like that. They always do a diary, don't they? A slim diary that's the exact shape of the TARDIS. They do that every year as well. That's also getting a little old. Yeah, Vanessa says if they just had the original 12 Doctors, that would fit. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Might make a better calendar. I think they've got to start prioritizing, and more to the point, think about moving things a little forward now. But it's a sign of the times that when you see the calendars and the diaries start to appear for the next year, that we are reaching the end of another year, or the halfway mark, I should say. It's getting closer. The nights are going to start drawing in probably about 6 or 7 weeks, aren't they? We're at that point in the year.
It also seems just really strange. As Game Closet says in the chat, why is Joe Martin there? I know we sort of talked about this before, so we're not going to go into any depth, but I agree. It feels very, very odd for somebody who was a cameo role, and that's all it was. It was a cameo role. Just seems really odd to keep on pushing her front and centre. It just seems a bit odd to me.
Well, I've just had a thought as well. John Hurt wasn't there, and he had more. Is he?
Yeah. But he's hiding in the background. He's hiding.
Right, so I didn't notice him.
You're right. What you're saying is that he's had more screen time, absolutely, than Joe Martin.
Oh yes, he is there. It's just
So what? So I mean, I don't personally think that John Hurt should be on there either. I just think we should go for the actual hierarchy of the Doctors if we're going to do anything at all. But certainly, if you're going to put him on, he should be in the front row rather than Joe Martin. But
when you think about it, Simon, Tegan's Aunt Vanessa had more lines in 10 minutes than Joe Martin had across 3 episodes. Darren Bradley says more than likely be a lot better small independent press Doctor Who art calendars out and available, such as obviously the Chris Achilleos one that's been out for a few years. But there's lots of
Am I right in remembering in thinking that there's an Andrew Skilleter one out this year? I think he does the most years, doesn't he, these days? So
I'd say so. I think something will be announced soon. There'll be lots of options for Doctor Who fans come that time of year, obviously when you start looking at the presents that you'd like other people to get you, maybe for Christmas. And whilst I remember, a good present you can do for us here at Type 40 is to check out the podcasts. So we launched the show with the Doctor Who and the Daleks console room there, and it's just my way of reminding myself to remind you that both of our reviews are now up on all the podcatchers across all the podcast feeds there. So when we got together with Ian McLaughlin, the late Ian McLaughlin, to review Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD, you can find both of those reviews out there across all podcatchers and at type40.podbean.com there. And go nuts and relive the classic 1960s movies. The videos are here too as well on the Spacebook channel. There's video tracks to every single edition of the Type 40 podcast, along with this show, Type 40 Live, there for you to binge watch hours and hours of this sort of rambling and ranting and raving, and Type 40 Extra too, which is our sort of odds and sods show, really. It's our before show, after show, and in between show, where episodes can last 5 minutes. They can sometimes last a couple of hours, but that's for everything else. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check you're still subscribed and hit the cluster bell to get all the notifications about all of it. Why do we do it? Why do we do it all? Well, we do it all for the love of who? For the love of Doctor Who. That's what brought us all together here and now, and at the weekend just gone. And here we've got Liz Sladen up on screen. The main reason being that this week just gone was the 50th anniversary of Liz Sladen being presented to the press. It was the big press launch there with John Pertwee in BBC Television Centre, and there was some photographs taken and as well. Now, she wasn't, even though it was announced in June, Liz didn't appear on screen until December, Simon, but that was part of the course then, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in those days, they didn't launch companions or even doctors as spectacularly as they do these days. I mean, they don't get such a big push and a big press and publicity launch. But nonetheless, they did do it even in those days. It was always worth a few column inches in the red top newspapers, so you'd always get this stuff appear, and the publicity isn't a new thing. It's just much bigger these days and much more pushed and rammed down your throat than it was back then.
It is indeed. If you tire of having everything rammed down your throat in the internet age through your smartphone or whatever else, you may be wanting to drift back to the bygone era of classic television and classic adverts featuring classic faces and voices. You can do that just now here on this channel with Type 40 Live's ad break. It's coming up now. A few faces from the past, from a very specific time in Doctor Who history when the big fella himself went on trial. So yeah, go and top up your drink if you like, yeah, or open a bottle if you're anything like Shah, and or go and find the smallest room in your TARDIS and point Percy at the porcelain. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes. You check out the adverts.
With bread pale ale, I'd know it anyway. Lively bouquet. All right, is it? All right. This is not one of your light ale ordinaire, you know. I fancy I detect the Kent countryside. Tickle your palate with an olive, Bert?
Don't think I like him, Fred.
You've got no class, have you, Bert? With bread pale ale. Light ale with a bit more class.
This man has just been to the dentist. He's brushing his teeth the way his dentist advised. For this he needs a good toothbrush, so he chose the Oral-B+, scientifically designed to be gentle on gums, yet tough enough to remove plaque effectively. People who care about their teeth and gums use Oral-B+.
The country manor.
The delightful taste.
The dressing room.
The early flight. The chilled country manor.
The bathroom.
The refreshing country manor.
The husband.
The door. The Dickens.
The butler. The cool country manor.
The end.
Country manor. So light, so subtle, so buy some.
You have a rich uncle I don't know about.
No.
An oil well in the garden, perhaps?
No, Dad, look.
So in the absence of these things, you might consider a fallback position?
A what?
I mean a pension.
A pension?
Yes, a pension. This is a very simple thing to find out about. So simple, even you can do it. You go into the Midland Bank, you'll recognise it. It has this big sign on it that says Midland Bank.
Ha ha.
You tell the guy all about yourself. In your case, this will not take too long. He listens to you like you're a very interesting person. He tells you which pension plan works best for you.
Say I don't like the look of any of them.
The point is you do something, and you do it now. I don't want you to end up being a burden to my grandson, okay?
Okay.
Give him here. There you go.
Midland Pensions. For details, call in at your local branch or ring 0800 400 469.
Hey, welcome back to Type 40 Live, your live stream magazine format Doctor Who show. Here we are very much in the present. Now, again, after we've gone back to 1986 and the faces and voices from the Trial of a Time Lord series, we're joined here by a buzzing chat too, and maybe you're there in the future. Please leave us a comment and pick up on some of the things we've been talking about on this edition of the show. I'm Dan Hadley. I'm back here with a panel of pundits. We've got Simon Horton, Shah, and we've got Charlotte Shields there too. We've been catching up on our excursion at the weekend in glorious Lichfield and picking our way through a few memories there from our time with Simon Horton there and his family and everything that we got up to back there. And it seems to have caught people's imaginations in the live chat. People want us to go on tour and all sorts of things. I think.
Hey, tour! Oh, bring it on!
And that could be stretching it a little, but please let us know what you think of all this. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell if you haven't already to get more live streams and podcasts and everything else. So yes, it was definitely a packed weekend. And whilst some of us, I think some of us took hand luggage, didn't we, or a change of clothes at best, and some of us left it there, Shaw. But as much as all of that was very, very exciting, I arrived bearing gifts for each of the Type 40 livers, courtesy of our new friend, the Badgeman. Now, I'm a sucker for a badge, Simon. I have been since the late 70s, early 80s. When I was a little kid, I think it was the Queen's Silver Jubilee there. I was given lots of commemorative badges. I've always loved badges. So I got Doctor Who badges from Longleat and all that kind of thing. So I do like a badge, and Doctor Who ones obviously are like nectar. But I am quite discerning. They have to be a little classier. So when I saw what the Badgeman was listing on the website there, I had to have one. And the thing that caught my eye, Charlotte, was this. I wanted something to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. And I can't stand when stuff gets distressed and mucked around with. I like logos to look like the logos. And I saw this on the website there, reached out to him and placed an order. Now, I found out the Badgeman was actually following our antics here on the show, and he sent us along some samples to try. And whilst I've got here, so I got the little, if you can see there, I got the 60th anniversary one there. So it's beautifully reproduced, and it's got a nice pin at the back that you can pin onto any shirt, all that kind of thing. Very impressive. The detail into such a small area. I was very, very impressed with this. But that's not where it ends at all. I found lots of designs on this website, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, the Badgeman sent us along some to try. So I've got some pictures here because we had them at the weekend, didn't we? This is the website. This is where you've got to go. This is the Badgeman Limited. I like that, Simon. There's no fat on it. Not just Badgeman. This is the Badgeman. This is. I like that. Stake your claim.
Quite right.
And there's
quite right.
Several logos, several badges, lots to choose from. And yes, so we gave them out, didn't we, at our get together?
Yeah,
so
it was fantastic. You came bearing gifts. It just made the weekend even better.
Yeah.
So, mine is the Doctor Who souvenir enamel pin badge for the 60th anniversary. Doctor Who 60 years. It's in antique silver, and there's the butterfly clutch there. That's what they call it at the back. God, that sounds rude, but you know what I mean. We had an assortment of other ones. So this is the Fair Shah here. And what are you wearing there? We've got. Yes, so this is
I'm
yours.
sporting the David Tennant / 10th and 14th Doctor. I've also got it here as well, though. Yeah, hold on, bear with. There we are. Oh well, you can't really see that ring light; it's so bright. But yeah, there
we
he
can
is.
see.
Oh, you can't. There you go. There he is. Yeah, I love it.
Incredible hair. Yeah.
You talking about Shah or David?
Both.
Correct answer. Well done.
Obviously, these badges are not suitable for young children because of the pointy bits on the back. That should probably go without saying. But again, he's caught Tennant there perfectly, hasn't he? There's such a small area, but yeah, they do catch the light really well as well. We've also got this one here. So Ian David Diaz looking minty fresh there. He was wearing the 1993 flavoured anniversary logo there. It says it's for the 60th anniversary. What the Badgeman has done is try to recreate the look of 1993. Do you remember that one, Simon? It used to be on all the
I remember that one very well, the 40th anniversary logo. Absolutely. And it's interesting because Dan, what happened at the weekend is Dan just sort of put all of these badges out on the table while we were drinking our strawberry daiquiris, and basically said choose one. And so we were all torn as to which one to choose for. But interestingly, Dan, you said that we ultimately chose. You set in your mind which ones we would all choose, and we all chose exactly the one that you thought we would choose.
Yeah, it was
funny that.
It was really strange. Yeah, Ian couldn't make it until the second day, so he kind of got Hobson's choice. But I think he'd have gone for that anyway because it's that classic sort of that 70s logo. Yeah. So which one did you get, Charlotte? Remind us which was yours.
I got, as you probably can't see on
the.
There we go. I can't make it any closer. I got the Matt Smith TARDIS logo.
Cool.
So
the one with the D, the one with the D and the W back to front,
yes.
Back to back. Sorry.
Yeah, because I always thought that was such a clever design anyway. The fact that it was obviously the TARDIS and they used the letters to make it. So I always thought it was a clever one. And then it's Matt. So it was very easy to predict, I think, Dan, when he was in his head who I was going to go with.
I think there is something for everyone here, whichever was your first anniversary. The Badgeman has sort of recaptured it, like this one that Sarah's wearing there. That's the 50th anniversary logo, if you remember, with the scarf sort of forming the blocks. But the Badgeman has done it for the 60th anniversary, and there's our lovely Sarah.
I love that one. I mean, truth be told, when you put them all on the table, we were all spoiled for choice. We didn't know which one to go for. And I love that TARDIS, and it just looks great there because it's just so discreet, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah, nice job indeed. Next up, we've got who's next? Oh, who indeed? Next up, Simon, it's you. So this was probably the most curious of all of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just immediately zoned in on this one because I like the fact that it's very, very subtle. And you're only going to get it if you're a Doctor Who fan. But I will wear that all the time. And again, I've got it right here with me. It would be no point putting it on this shirt because it'd just disappear in the colours. But you can probably just about make it out. It's just really, really cool. I just love. Well, of course, Tom Baker is my Doctor, and so it's logical that I would choose the scarf. But I just love the subtle style of it. I just think it's really, really cleverly done. And I will wear it all the time.
And as noticed today, it matched Lenny's collar, which is brilliant.
It matches your sleeves as well.
He has his little rainbow collar on here. There's his little rainbow collar, so it does rather match little Lenny. Yeah, goes well.
Imagine.
I love that photo of you, Simon, was a great photographer. I don't know.
I think it could have been Ian. Yeah. So yeah, head over to the website. So
me.
Was it you?
Well done.
Yeah, because Ian took loads of photos of you, and he was like, "Oh right, okay." And I took one. And you were like,
"You're right." All the ones that Ian took were hopeless. They cut off the top of my head. They did, Ian. I'm sorry, but they did. Whereas Shah did a brilliant photo.
You're welcome.
All of these badges are in stock and they're ready to post. Worldwide postage is available. He stresses again, they're not suitable for children. But if you have any questions, the Badgeman is out there waiting for you to make contact. info@thebadgeman.co.uk. The website, that's in the show notes to the video, so you can go and track him down there. And there's a Twitter account too to get all the details and all the various conditions and terms and exact details on every badge that you can get. Every Doctor Who related badge there at the Badgeman Limited. Just go to the website and put Doctor Who into the search bar and they'll all pop up. A nice family of designs there to commemorate the 60th anniversary so beautifully. And yeah, this one, my 60th anniversary one, will be pinned to this very shirt on upcoming editions of Type 40 Live.
And it just has to be said, the quality of them is just superb. You can't.
Yeah.
I feel like we begin to feel like one of those awful shopping channels now. But honestly, the quality of them.
People love this stuff.
It's just incredible. You know, these are proper sort of little metal badges, then with enamel detail on the front. And the quality of them is just fantastic. They just feel very, very quality product. They're brilliant, magnificent, well done.
Very, very, very timely too. Excellent badges, says Richard Brooks. That's proper merchandise.
Yes,
I completely
agree.
Vanessa has one from years ago, from the Tom Baker era. Tony L says the detail in the badges are brilliant. It is very, very detailed. I'm so impressed by this. How clever, says Vanessa. There's a nice question mark in red one. David Harrington's already gone over to the website.
Yeah,
well, that's the Sylvester McCoy one, I'm guessing. Maybe taken from the umbrella.
And Adam from the Geeks Handbag loves a butterfly clutch. On that bombshell, yes. So get over there to the Badgeman, to the website. The links are in the description and the show notes. And tell the Badgeman that Type 40 Live sent you. There's Blake 7 badges there too, and other geeky stuff. So yeah, go nuts. And I think other Doctor Who's as well out there, actual Doctor Who's, could do with one of those to set off their outfit. David Tennant was spotted out in public this week. He was snapped and he was papped out with the missus. They're walking through the streets. I think they're on holiday on a little day trip there, and they look like they've had quite a rough night. But they could probably do with one of the badges there pinned on them. But it could be worse. Ncuti Gatwa, what's Ncuti Gatwa wearing this week? I hear you're dying to know, aren't you, Simon?
Oh, I guess if you say so.
Well, he's gone.
Oh
He's
my God!
Now that's gotta itch. I think, Shaw. It's gotta itch.
Yeah, I think he looks great.
Really?
I just think he can
It's
pull
clearly
off
me.
anything. No, no one else could do it. I honestly don't think so. Like, I would look a right prat, but yeah, I agree with the itching
Does
though.
look a bit of a prat? Maybe it's me.
No. I'm saying I think anyone else would, but for some reason he just looks. Yeah, I'm not massive on the top. I don't mind the bottoms; they're quite nice. I like the bag.
Oh, the
but I wouldn't
bottoms are
wear it
nice.
with that outfit.
I was gonna say, I think the top would look quite nice actually if it just didn't have the detail. If you just had a plain white knitted, whatever that is, I think that would actually wouldn't look that bad and be a good look on him. It's the detail.
He's
that
a
sort of ruins
handsome.
it.
He's a handsome guy, though, isn't he? You
He's a
can't-
very
you can't
good-looking
deny that.
boy.
Oh yes, he's yes.
He's
It's
very. He wasn't behind the door when the good looks were handed out. That's for sure.
I really like those trousers. I sincerely do.
I do.
He's not one for wearing anything baggy. He always favours the tight, doesn't he? I think we've established this in recent weeks. But I do think that jumper is kind of ridiculous. And what is it with those bags that he insists on carrying around? You can't keep anything
I
there.
love the
It's like
bag.
the ones the Queen used to carry to keep that marmalade sandwich in. Maybe.
I mean, you just about fit a marmalade sandwich in there. It's the glasses as well. Those glasses are just ridiculous to me. But
I'm
there
not.
we go.
Yeah, I'm not massive on the glasses. I'm not. But for some reason, he could wear a bin bag and still look great. I don't know what it is about him.
It's irritating, isn't it? I mean, I would say that you couldn't really go out in public like this. And I think that finally, after several weeks of fashion disasters, the fashion police seem to have caught up with Ncuti Gatwa. He's snapped here. I don't know if he's actually under arrest because it's all smiles all around there on the streets of Cardiff, where Ncuti is feeling. Is he feeling the long arm of the law, or are they feeling his? I'm not really sure what's going on there, Charlotte.
Well, he's having a good time. Whatever's going on, he's
They're all having a
smiling
good
like
time.
always.
Do you know what? I think he looks even better. Just really simple t-shirt and jeans.
I
he does.
agree. That's exactly what I was just about to say. A pair of blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and he looks fantastic in them. And that's all he needs. That's it for me.
Yeah.
You could be right. Peter Harrington asks, is he considered a fashion icon? Simon, do you mean, Peter?
I think Ncuti would consider himself a fashion icon. I'm honestly not certain that everybody else considers him a fashion icon, but I could be wrong.
I love this comment from the Sodor Engines. He looks a right prat. You don't hear that. You don't hear prat very often now. Do you?
Brilliant. Just say it how it is. That's what I believe in. Say it how it is.
Tony L says Ncuti's outfit is out there, but good. I like the bag, the shoes, and the trousers.
I like the bag. I like the bag. I want the bag.
Peter suggests that they're called Birmingham bags.
Could
The
be.
1970s. Birmingham bags.
We
Can't
should
be-
know.
Really? You should know, yeah.
Beige, says Richard Brooks. There was a lot of beige at play there in that when it came to that outfit.
Well,
Yeah,
There's one bit of beige.
Yeah, I was going to say, mainly the trousers.
Well, it just all
I like
looks
the
a
trousers.
bit.
I like the bag.
Looks a bit beige to me. I kind of know.
It's a statement, isn't it? It's not that isn't something you go out wearing. It's just a statement. You've seen the Met Gala. They all do look like prats, in my opinion. But it's just for a photo shoot, and I just think have fun with it. Why not? It's only clothes, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be out. The fashion police will let him go in due course because they need to. He's still filming Series 14, or could be Series 1. They're still filming Series 14 of Doctor Who. They're working on the 2-part finale at the moment. Now we've recently discovered that it's going to be a double episode to end the series. And my mouth is sort of watering at the prospect of what we could be getting there because of some of the photographs that we've had this week. It's been a little quieter than previous weeks, but we did get the unbelievable sight of Bonnie Langford. Now, have you been following the return of Bonnie Langford to Doctor Who, Simon? Have you found this surprising?
I found it surprising. Yeah, I did find it surprising. I of all of the companions to come back for the 60th, Bonnie was probably low on my list of expectations. I have to be honest. I know that everybody raves about the the character of Mel on the Big Finish audios. That because I have to be honest, I didn't like the character on screen at all.
No, me neither.
It just really was it didn't work for me. It was the beginning of the end of my love of Doctor Who at that point in time. But apparently she's brilliant, and the character is brilliant on the Big Finish audios. So maybe, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll say one thing. I love the choice of jackets that Bonnie Langford always wears as the character of Mel. They always put her in these really funky coloured jackets, and I just love the fashion sense there. So yeah, bring it on. It's the 60th. Why not?
Well, she's a considerably better actor than I think people ever gave her credit for at the time, or than she was permitted to be when she was originally in Doctor Who, because there just wasn't room for her to prove it, was there? That was part of the problem. The material wasn't there. No,
and also, if we're to believe all that we're told, she was sort of misdirected in that she did a brilliant audition, and then somehow she got kind of the wrong direction and just started playing it in the way that she played all of her West End musical stuff, rather than playing it straight down the line. And somehow it just got lost in translation as to how she should be playing the part. And she is a great actress. You can see that from other stuff that she's done. So yeah, as I say, bring it on. I'm all for it. Nothing against it at all.
Just 20 episodes later, of course, she was gone from Doctor Who, and a lot of the audience at the time, we heaved a sigh of relief, which I think it was one of those things that was so fleeting that you almost forgot that it even happened. And Bonnie, it certainly didn't seem to harm her career. She went on to just as much success afterwards as she'd had before. But seeing her in the thick of it with Doctor Who, I feel really nice about this. I feel that she is in from the cold as an actress, that the character could now be in the hands of writers who can develop her and show her in a rounded way. And more to the point, this week we've seen her out having fun. So they've been filming Doctor Who again on the streets of Cardiff. And this time, though, Ncuti Gatwa and Bonnie Langford have been taking to the streets very, very literally. So they were meeting the fans and getting signings and all this sort of thing. Meets and greets, I think they call it. So they were signing old issues of Doctor Who magazine there that Ncuti Gatwa, I don't think he was even born when this magazine was in W.H. Smith's. But there he was. He signed it anyway and met the fans. And so did Bonnie Langford before they strapped in for a bit of a ride around the town. Now, did you see these pictures of them getting kitted out, Simon, to go?
No, I haven't seen it. Is she wearing a Blue Peter badge there?
She is.
Yeah, I think it is.
So they were huddled on street corners in those giant coats that they put on actors when they're taking them out on location to stop them from getting colds and things like that. And fans were obviously swarming round the barriers that they put up and snapping away all of this stuff. I think this era of Doctor Who is probably going to be the most documented of them all. There's so many more photographs than certainly during the Chibnall era. And probably during the Moffat and the original Russell T Davies era too. We've got all these pictures, and they just seem to have gotten used to people being around them, Charlotte. But a lot of the action is focused around this carrot orange. Would you call that a moped? Is it a moped or a scooter?
I would say that's a scooter, but mate, I don't know.
Well, we're back to Hawaiian shirt territory, aren't we? What's the difference between the two? Who can say?
Well, I shouldn't say I should know because my dad had a moped. He'd tell me about it when he was young. He was one of those people who had the outfit and had the moped to go with it. So I don't know the difference though.
So it's interesting. Do you think they've deliberately gone for orange because of the whole connection with carrot juice back from the Trial of a Time Lord? Is that why they're dressing her in orange and putting her on an orange scooter? Because the character of Mel was never linked with orange particularly, but they seem to be going for it in a big way. And then, of course, we've got the Ncuti stuff from early on in the season where he's wearing orange. What is this with orange? I'm not against it. Orange is a great colour. Just intrigued by it. It's an odd Doctor Who colour.
Well, somebody, if you are a fashion expert, we did have Retro Doc Gary Akers earlier on who put us straight on the Hawaiian shirts. Maybe we can, is orange, is that the colour of the season, Shah? Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know. I mean, I know colours, obviously, but I don't really know. I saw this photo and it just made me smile. But Mel never struck me as a I'm going to get on a moped kind of gal. I'll be honest. But
No,
I'm not
I
against
agree.
it. But however, and I'm sorry if you're going to go on to this, but it's making me wonder how long Mel's in this, because unless I have heard it really wrong, because I watched that clip that a fan took. Sorry, I'll be 2 minutes. I go off on a tangent, don't I? Of a clip that a fan took when Mel. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. When the Doctor is in David Tennant and Donna get out the TARDIS, and you can hear it. It's very quiet, but you can hear Donna say something like, "Oh, what about Mel?" And the Doctor says, "Oh, she's brilliant, isn't she?" So I don't know how long she's going to be in it, and it's making me wonder now. Like, is she going to stay for a regeneration?
I'm pretty convinced she's in the anniversary specials this year. Yeah, that series 14 will not be the first time that we re-meet Melanie Bush. I know she was in the Power of the Doctor. Ooh, who knows? Who knows? So, they closed off part of Cardiff City Centre for the production. This was on Sunday afternoon through to around Tuesday, I think, for the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, and Mel, played again by Bonnie Langford, to speed around the streets on a moped. And they had stunt doubles as well, because obviously you don't want them having any accidents there and getting any dirt on that orange shirt, that orange jacket, sorry, or on Ncuti's jeans and shirt there. But there was extras running around the streets as well, shouting and pointing at the sky as whatever peril was descending. But the Doctor and Mel are back on the case and back on their bikes. So I think this all looks quite promising, Charlotte. I mean, it looks perhaps a little primary coloured, but then again, we don't know how it's going to look on screen, do we? When there's effects added and all that kind of thing, it looks like a bit of fun, doesn't it?
I know, it definitely looks fun, and I think that's what I think was the good part of Mel as a character. Actually, she was quite a fun character.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. I wouldn't necessarily see her on a bike, but I could see her character possibly doing it. It's not out of the realms of God. She'd never do it, sort of thing. Like I said, I can remember her being quite fun, sort of being up for anything type of personality. Mm-hmm. And I think that might, and I'm obviously we'll see what Ncuti's Doctor's like. But the vibe I'm getting off Ncuti is he's going to be a bit of a fun Doctor again. We're going to have a bit of a sort of youthful, young sort of fun Doctor. And I think that dynamic would suit Mel. So the more I think about it, the more I think actually Ncuti could possibly be a really good Doctor actually to put to Mel. Mm-hmm. And it could be a really good dynamic, which we just haven't seen in a while. Mm-hmm. With
now
sort of a Doctor.
I'm over the shock of the tight jeans and leather jacket. I did actually think this looked a lot of fun, and we don't know whether this is late in the finale or not. Obviously, you want a finale to be really sort of exciting and a little harder. I think, Shah, finale should bite, because it's going to be the last time the thing's going to be on screen for months. So it should leave people chomping for more. It shouldn't be a runaround. It shouldn't necessarily be camp. It's got to set things off in a blockbuster way, hasn't it? But if this is just one scene, I think it could be a laugh. And they look like they're having so much fun there. And Ncuti Gatwa did put it up on social media. He said, "Don't mind me, just popping out to save the world with Bonnie Langford." So he's still on Instagram pumping that out. And Russell T Davies too added just a toot and a couple of icons and tagged everybody involved as well. See, I think this is quite nice. It's been another funny couple of weeks with Doctor Who, with very little actual news, but at the same time, lots going on as well. I just thought that was pretty cool. I mean, you said, Charlotte, that you didn't think that Mel, who would jump on a scooter there, was it? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think we both said the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, she has got on a bike with the Doctor before, here in the that standout classic that's agreed by every Doctor Who fan.
Oh, here we go.
Delta and the Bannermen, everybody. That was where the Doctor and Mel sat astride that giant Vincent bike there in that story to ride around Wales and to go against the Bannermen and Gavrock and all those people. Yeah, I absolutely love the stuff. Yes, we've got, people do seem to be, we've got a few bikers in the chat. I think TARDIS TV says, "I can't wait to see the new era of Doctor Who." Is it November yet?
Oh, I love to read things like that. I love seeing that people are excited. It just makes me so happy. Yes, go on,
Some
TARDIS
people are
TV.
more open than others, aren't they? Yay, Delta! Yes, that's right, Cyberman Strikes. Of course, it's yay, Delta. It would have been made more sense if Shooty was the rider and Bonnie was the passenger. Well, maybe the Doctor hasn't got a valid license. What's going to happen if they get pulled over?
You never
Carl?
know.
They'll be in lumber, won't they? He won't be able to get by on his good looks then, will he? It'll be, never mind that sunshine. Where's the paperwork? And if
I was going to say though, he has got a bit of Grease/Happy Days vibe with that outfit.
I think he looks
like
like one of the
E.T.
guys.
bird.
I think he looks like one of the highway cops from Chips. Simon, do you remember that?
It does actually. It does remind me of Chips. But actually, I think it's quite right that Mel will be riding and he will be the passenger, because that's yet again going back to the Trial of a Time Lord, for example. She was the driver, as it were, in every sense of the word in that. And so I think I think it's quite correct. And so I love the orange jacket. Absolutely love that orange jacket. I'm going to tell you when you finish with that one, Mel. I want that one. The only thing that bothers me about it is it does clash rather badly with the orange scooter. They're two completely different oranges, and that just really bugs me. But that's just me.
I don't think that'll be by accident. Ada McGear hopes that we will get back to a more traditional Doctor outfit, excluding 14. Yeah. We haven't had it since 12. I take your point there. Suddenly I need a popsicle.
Before it's just that you kind of want to have a classic Doctor outfit, but then every so often bring in an oddity, and so that's why I think Shoot looks brilliant in white jeans and blue jeans and a white t-shirt, as we said. So that would be good as a one-off, but we do want, I think, a regular Doctor outfit as well. So there we go.
TARDIS Spider asks, will he be the next Doctor to grab a sword, or is that too much to ask? Well, we don't know where he's going yet. I don't see why not, Shaw. He can go anywhere in history, couldn't he? There's no reason why he couldn't do that.
Who can say?
I want to see him with a bow and arrow. Yeah, exactly. I want to see also anything can happen. Really, in this show, these are really the questions to ask. Like anything can happen. So
M says it looks like a Vespa. The cycle looks like a Vespa.
Awesome. I don't know. I do love an old Vespa, the 50s Vespa.
Matthew Pounder says Doctor Who isn't about fun. Well, it's not
You
about
need a bit of fun.
but it is
That's what
fun.
my point was. It's nice to have it in bits, and it should be there in bits, Matthew.
I'm not sure what Doctor Who's actually about, but fun is a major component of the appeal of Doctor Who.
But hold on. I mean, isn't this really difficult? Because if you go to something like, I don't know, the Talons of Wen Chiang, the Caves of Androzani, Revelation, there's not a lot of fun in those. So
Talons is a lot of fun. The Doctor's playing dress up. Of course it's fun.
It's quite dark. We need to do a whole show on, is Doctor Who fun? Because it's fun to watch, but is it fun? That's a really interesting thought.
No, I would say though, look at some of the best Doctor and companion relationships, the ones that people love.
Those are fun.
Donna and Tennant, fun. They had fun. That was part of the dynamic. Sarah and Tom,
fun.
Yeah,
in classic Sarah and Tom.
Good
that was
point.
there.
A fun dynamic fuels the relationships, obviously, and that runs into the story. So, no, I think fun is absolutely an integral part of not just the character of the show, but of the makeup of the average season of Doctor Who. Some stories absolutely have to be fun. Tonally, each season of Doctor Who should be all over the map. It should give us all manner of things. So I don't know quite whether that was what you meant, Matthew, but that's my reading of it anyway.
I think that started with Patrick Troughton, though. I like
Probably. We're divided on the orange in the live chat on YouTube. It has to be said, has to be accepted. Some people like it. Some people think it's a little bit too much. It could depend on how you've got the contrast set on your television, whether you could be...
It'll look good in HD, that's for sure.
It will. Yeah, lots of support. There's some support for Delta and the Badgeman. Yay, from Tony L. So the three of us now, Side Matt Strikes. Let's take on the world. A psychic paper, says Owl Hatch. Well, you've got some or you want some? You want it back. Let's know what you mean by that. Or have we just forgotten because you've used your psychic paper on us through the internet?
We haven't quite got it yet.
Glenn Piper says, can't wait for the brand new era. Forget the negatives of the past and move forward. Let's enjoy it. Well, I'm doing my best. But Russell T. Davies keeps opening his mouth and saying stupid things. I'm doing my best. He keeps casting weird people, but I keep doing my best, Glenn. Generally speaking, I'm very much still kind of hopeful. I just wish Russell would for 5 minutes and get on with it and promote the bloody show. Promote it properly. The Chips theme is stuck in Wendy's head now.
Never seen it. I don't know what it is. So, all right, yeah.
Get it up on YouTube later on if you want to see more of more of this. Really, it's like a bunch of guys looking like that, including Chris Pine's dad was in that show, the Star Trek actor Chris Pine. I'm getting good vibes from New Who, says Jamie Knight.
Good.
Yes, people are generally speaking up for it. They should reboot, Chips, says Gary. Oh, we've really started something now.
No, they shouldn't.
Oh, well done, Dan and Simon.
Eat it, Chips.
Chips
wasn't Chips on at the same time as Doctor Who, though, in the 70s, early 80s?
I think it was for well, they moved it. I think it was on Sundays sometimes and Saturdays others. It was definitely on Sundays for a while.
Okay.
Because it was Chips. It was Chips and then Highway and then Heart to Heart. That's how I remember it, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Fun is a good thing, advises Owl Hatch. It's not that kind of chip, although you probably would find them tasty. Fun is a good thing. The magic in discovery itself is fun. Billy and Chris also.
Yeah.
There you go. I agree.
They had moments, yeah.
Yeah.
Vanessa says you do need a variety, but that takes talent to write. Couldn't agree more. And obviously, the writers of the present in recent years have been found rather wanting. I think that we can make no secret of that. We don't know the identities of any of the writers of Series 14 yet. Still, to be fair to them, it is further away from transmission than we know, isn't it? We do know that Russell is writing all three of the specials we're getting later this year. Quite why they're announcing cast members, not telling us who's writing all new Doctor Who, I'm not entirely sure. It had better be worth the wait. Let us know what you think in the comment sections, of course. As always, about all of that, which names would you like to see on that list when we do get it? Which writers do you want to see, whether they've been on Doctor Who before or not, appear? And which writers' names would make you think, yes, that sounds like unmissable TV?
Cool, that still gives me the willies.
You didn't give us any warning. That was the jump scare. Like, I even said, I'm so glad that it was that my mic was muted while you played that, because I had to just go, was that?
Enough of the here and now. I think let's spoil ourselves with some then and there, not just places but times too. Glory days etched in our memories, Simon, and marked in the pages of the Doctor Who diary. Simon, are you willing and able to take us back there and bring it all back all over again?
Let's give it a go.
Love it.
Thanks. Hey!
You can hear little Lenny in the background. He's going hysterical because we've got workmen out on the road drilling, and so you might hear drilling and you might hear Lenny. But here we go with the diary. Anyway, who cares about any of that? Welcome to the Doctor Who diary for this week of the last week of June, spinning back through the years to have a little look at what was going on in the Doctor Who world in years gone by. And there were 9 new episodes that were screening in this week in years gone by. I could tell you about any number of those episodes that were screening on BBC One. A wicked part of me really wants to tell you about the Censorites episode 2, which was screening this week in 1964. What? But I can't be that mean to you, so I'm afraid we're skipping over the Censorites episode 2. I know, I'm sorry, I'm sure there are Censorite fans out there, but I'm afraid you won't be getting
episode 1's fantastic.
Also, interesting, there were a brace of David Tennant episodes broadcast this week in years gone by. Army of Ghosts, Last of the Time Lords, The Stolen Earth. But
finale time, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We are at finale time. Well spotted, Dan. This is the end of season period. And interestingly, we are stopping with David Tennant. We're not talking about any of the three main episodes of David Tennant's run. But what we are talking about is a David Tennant episode from 2007. It's not Last of the Time Lords. It's The Infinite Quest. Because The Infinite Quest screened, the animated serial screened this week in 2007, 16 years ago. And this was the first made-for-television animated serial of Doctor Who. And it screened as part of Totally Doctor Who, as you can see the logo there. Totally Doctor Who, for people who weren't aware of this at the time or missed it, was a kids show on CBBC, all about sort of behind the scenes of Doctor Who. And this was the second. I think this was the second season, or what was it? The third? No, it was the second.
This was the second, was it? Oh, I thought it was the first. God.
It was the third. No, I'm pretty sure. No, because they didn't do it for 2005. They didn't do it for Chris Eccleston. They did it for David Tennant in 2006. So this somebody will correct me in the chat, but I think I'm confident in saying this was series 2 of Totally Doctor Who. And so what they did was they broadcast across the 12 episodes of Totally Doctor Who. They broadcast 12 3.5-minute episodes, one each week, just 3.5 minutes of animated Doctor Who. And then for the finale, which was the 13th episode, they didn't screen that as a standalone episode of 3.5 minutes within Totally Doctor Who. They just screened the entire omnibus edition.
Oh, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, it screened today, this very day, 29th of June in 2007. You could have seen 45 minutes of animated Doctor Who in the form of The Infinite Quest. It was written by Alan Barnes, who, of course, did a lot of work. I think he was working at the time for Doctor Who magazine. And it was directed by Gary Russell, who, of course, at the time was script editing on Doctor Who. So this is very much seen as legitimate canon Doctor Who. We've talked about canon before now. What is canon, what isn't? And this is very much seen, I think, as canonical. But what's interesting is that it's never been seen as part of that particular season. At the time, series 3, as it was, it's never seen as one of those episodes, but it was made very, very much in the world of series 3. It's placed squarely in the world of series 3, and it's made by some of the same team. And so it could legitimately be considered, as I say, to be canonical. For those that can't remember, it's a rather thin story, if we're brutally honest, about the Doctor and Martha looking for the legendary lost spaceship, the Infinite, before.
That's the problem, though, isn't it, Simon? Because when you've got 3-minute chunks,
absolutely,
so that people will keep track of the story. Because obviously, as Doctor Who fans, we recorded the bloody thing. Right. But for the people who didn't, but to keep them engaged in a story.
Yeah.
For 7 days in 3-minute chunks, it's quite a tall order, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't tell a very deep story in that kind of context. And so that's why I personally think it worked. I remember it working better as 3.5-minute episodes than as the 45-minute, which just felt a little bit sort of thin. But they're trying to find this spaceship before the evil Balthazar finds it, for reasons I must be honest, I can't quite remember, but I'm sure they were very legitimate at the time. But Balthazar is played, of course, by Anthony Head. Very brilliantly. He chews the scenery, even though he's only seen in animated form. Anthony Head, of course, had played the headmaster in School Reunion the year before, in the previous season. And of course, David Tennant and Freema Agyeman reprised their roles as the Doctor and Martha as well. So this is very, very, as I say, it absolutely can be seen as canon. It also features Toby Longworth, who's been in loads of other genre stuff, and also Lisa Tarbuck, and Totally Doctor Who's own Barney Harwood. Barney Harwood was the presenter, one of the presenters of Totally Doctor Who, and even he has a very minor role in it. It was even production designed by Edward Thomas, and the music is by Murray Gold. So it doesn't get much more
So apart from actors actually being on screen, Charlotte, it is an episode of Doctor Who. I mean, Lisa Tarbuck playing a pirate. It's a bit of a stretch, but from the way you're describing it there, Simon, did you watch this, Charlotte, when it was on?
Oh yeah, because I was like the perfect age. I watched like Doctor Who, The Confidentials. I watched Totally Doctor Who, and somebody said, could they explain for Americans? It was basically like the more kiddie sort of child version of what Confidential was, which is it was sort of the more here's a bit more sort of fluffier, not as serious, but a little bit of behind the scenes.
Yes,
it was very similar to. It was very similar to Blue Peter, wasn't it? Because people would sit on a sofa, and they would chat about just solidly about Doctor Who and nothing else.
Yeah, and like, I think maybe Tennant did a couple of episodes. Like he'd come in and talk a bit about the show. So it was, like I said, you could tell they were like for the younger children who couldn't quite get Confidential. This was sort of their version of it, and it was nice to have the little bits of story. But they look lovely in the screenshots, but I can remember the animation being a bit to be admired when they were actually talking and walking and doing anything, basically.
It was basic, wasn't it? At best, it was basic.
Yeah.
People in the live chat are divided about it as well. Some people remember it fondly, others maybe not so much. I think if you were a child and you were a Doctor Who fan at the time, it must have been very exciting to get an extra slither, I won't say a chunk, a slither of Doctor Who that week. I certainly enjoyed it. My kids were really, really young then, and we watched Totally Doctor Who together. We really got invested in this. And I personally really like the animation style of this. It's obviously now, however many years on, 16, 17 years on, it is of its time as everything was. But Alan Barnes is a good, solid writer, isn't he, Simon? His comic strips are really, really good. He's done some great work on, but he created Charlie Pollard, I think, for Big Finish and sort of curated that line for a while and charted her story. So Alan Barnes is the kind of writer you want to give this stuff to and know that he's going to turn in something that will be fit for purpose, for the precise medium. Haven't watched it in years, though. It might be bloody awful. I don't know.
I do remember it being somewhat, as I say, a little bit dull. But the thing is, what we've got to remember, we need to give it credit because at the end of the day, whatever happens, the BBC did invest in 45 minutes of animation. And it just goes to show that at that point in time, Doctor Who was on an absolute roller coaster. It was riding the wave at that point. It was
the biggest thing on TV, Simon. It's that simple.
Absolutely. It was in its imperial phase. It could do no wrong. And as I say, that just goes, it's obviously inconceivable today that they would invest 45 minutes in having anything like Totally Doctor Who on.
Just the show itself, wasn't it? Like you said, it had such the far-reaching. At this, did we have the Sarah Jane going at this time as well? It was just such all-encompassing.
Probably just about. I would say it's probably just about starting at this point. Sarah
so
Jane.
It was just everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was ubiquitous.
Did you watch Totally Doctor Who, Shah? Do you remember this? Do you remember the cartoon?
It rings a bell, but it isn't. It's not something I remember. I don't remember sitting down and watching it. I never watched Sarah Jane until probably about 2 years ago. Even then, so I was So I just loved Confidential, and I just watched that. So I never just don't remember sitting down and watching this. I think I must have been probably 11 or 12 when this came out. But it's I learned something every day. So it rings Totally Doctor Who, and that being on CBBC. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I think it was
it was on BBC One actually. To be honest, it was BBC One. Yeah, just part of CBBC.
Yeah,
it has had several physical media releases since. I think it's part of some animation box set that they've put out, and you can get it in a single DVD. At least you could. I would imagine you still can, particularly if you hit eBay or World of Books.
It is still out there potentially on one of the animation box sets. It's probably out on YouTube or is it on BBC? Probably isn't on BBC iPlayer anymore, is it? Don't know.
Well, you'd be surprised. Like all manner of tat is still up on there. I don't ever bother cleaning it down. So I would imagine if you want to see it badly enough, you can go and get some of the Infinite Quest into your life.
So moving on, a couple of birthdays. We've got people we can't possibly mention, unfortunately. We haven't got time for. Maureen O'Brien is 80 today. Maureen O'Brien God bless you. Happy birthday. She's 80 today. Lala Ward is 72. G Marsh is 89. But again, just no time to talk about them. I'm so sorry, but we wish you happy birthdays anyway. But what we are talking about today is a true legend. Daphne Dare would have been 94 years old on Saturday.
Daphne Dare. Now, this wasn't Dan Dare's sister, wasn't it? This person was connected. So who was Daphne Dare?
Dan Dare's sister. Daphne Dare is a name that you would be familiar with if you had been watching Black and White Doctor Who, and if you, as the Black and White Blu-rays start to come out, you'll see her name more and more and more, because Daphne Dare is the most frequently credited costume designer for the first 4 seasons of Doctor Who. And actually, she worked on more serials than any other costume designer in the classic run. She worked on a total of 30 stories in the classic run, as I say, more than any other costume designer. So she is truly legendary.
See, I know that this name comes up again and again and again, and I'm not the most observant of people. I wouldn't say I tune out to the credits, but I'm usually humming along to the theme tune, Sean. That's what I'm usually doing my bit, doing the big fish, little fish.
You will find now that we're mentioning Daphne Dare, I guarantee every time you put on a Black and White Doctor, you'll see her name go up. You'll be like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about her on the diary. There she is pictured in roundabout, it would have been about 1965, because that is a Varga plant from the Daleks master plan.
Isn't it wonderful? It looks like she's gone to the wool shop there. There's a wool shop in my local town.
Look, you have to be brutally honest. Some of the designs were better than others, but let's not forget that they were working with about £2.40 for the entire season, and a roll of cotton wool and some sellotape. That was all they got in those days.
In some ways, people like Daphne. They were kind of pioneers. Again, we say this a lot. TV was hardly new, but they were stretching budgets. They were thinking big on Doctor Who, and talent, just like Delia Derbyshire. Daphne was a major talent, wasn't she? That was breaking through.
Yeah, absolutely. She certainly was. And she has designed some of the iconic costumes that we think of the early years of Doctor Who. She designed, for example, in the Daleks, she designed the first Dalek serial. So she's responsible for the Thal tabards and the trousers with the holes down the sleeves. That's Daphne Dare. The Keys of Marinus, she designed. So she's responsible for the Vord. The Celestial Toy Maker, so she's responsible for that, for the iconic image that we think of the Toy Maker and all the children's characters in there. Sure enough, there you are with the Daleks with the Web Planet on there, with the Monoptera and the Zarbi. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check. I have a feeling that she probably designed those in conjunction with the visual effects department, but she would have certainly nonetheless had a hand in that. But then also top left there, of course, you've got the Reign of Terror, and so she was equally good at doing historical stories. She did science fiction brilliantly, but she was great at doing the historicals. My two favourite designs of hers are the Marco Polo costumes and the Aztec costumes, which she designed. Those are just truly gobsmacked.
But to go every 6 or 7 weeks, and this is what blows me away about this. I mean, even now, Charlotte, when you get different episodes, 45-minute chunks or double episodes at best, and they go from place to place and period in history, one to another. But back in the 60s, every 6 or 7 weeks, the entire location would change. They'd create entire civilizations like this, and then who knows where they'd be next. It must have really stretched their powers of creativity, their versatility, because they could have just gone from one costume drama to another, couldn't they? But somebody who was on Doctor Who really had to roll with every creative punch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it wasn't just that. Also, you've got to think nowadays we've got almost a shorthand for what space looks like, what futuristic clothes look like, what historical clothes look like. Back when she was doing it, there wasn't that wealth of already other shows that she could look at or take inspiration from. She had to completely, from her own sort of imagination, create all this. And it was all on her
back. What can we do with whatever was in the purse?
Yeah, and like she just, and they also had to trust her. you got to think she must have felt like she had so much pressure on her because it's such an integral part of the show, the costume. It always has been.
Yeah. To sell those stories as well. So I'm going to comment here from Gary Browser, who's watching on YouTube, and he says, I spoke to someone who watched Doctor Who on the first run, and he said the Varga plant was scary. Honestly, people can't believe it now, but Daphne, she did her job beautifully, didn't she? Because these things, they stayed in people's memories for decades.
Well, this is why, as I say, when you run down the list of the stories that she worked on, there are a lot of them, but they're all those iconic stories that you remember the designs from so clearly. She worked on the moon base as well, so she would have helped design the new Cybermen that appeared in the Cybermen. Yeah, absolutely. And so all of this stuff is really, really, truly iconic stuff that she was designing, and we're still talking about it now. And you know, as soon as you mention the Web Planet, you immediately think of those costumes. You know, they just immediately spring to mind. So a tiny bit of background on Daphne. She was born in Somerset in 1929, and she died in September 2000, aged 71. And as you can imagine, she worked on all manner of television programs. She's got a huge long list of credits. But Doctor Who is obviously her largest chunk of material. That's what she's remembered for.
It's extraordinary when you look at the various design sketches, because there are lots of her work is out there, because she works on both sides of the Atlantic as well, I understand, Simon, on some big American productions as well. So it didn't begin and end with her at the BBC. She had a good career and lots of creative expression and room to grow. That Doctor Who and the BBC and this kind of furious birth of the show and the rush for everybody, all hands on deck, to be majorly creative and to keep the momentum going, that would seem to have benefited her in the long run. She had this stellar career, didn't she, with lots of awards and exhibitions and things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, she was a name to be reckoned with at the time. As I say, most of her designs are iconic. Even, I mean, bless her, we talked about the Sensorites a few minutes ago, that episode 2 was screening this week in 64. Of course she designed the costumes on the Sensorites. Of course she did that one as well. So that's maybe one of her less successful designs, because those feats just always remind me of that scene in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, when they're out in the desert doing the ABBA number. We're back to ABBA again.
You found a way, didn't you?
I can't get away too far from ABBA. But as I say, overall, you know, maybe a couple of missteps, purely probably down to budgetary restraints and the like, and apart from that, you know, a true legend, and really right there at the forefront of the formation, the birth of Doctor Who, right from that second serial onwards. She never really stopped in those early years.
I hadn't looked at it this way. Al Hatch has put a comment in the live chat and says, let's not forget that there were less types of materials back then either. So some materials that we use today didn't exist back then as regards clothes and textiles. And I've never even looked at it like that. Thank you for that, Al Hatch.
Very true. But what's also what follows on from that, of course, is that very often they would find, these costume designers would find these new materials and bring them onto Doctor Who, and it'd be the first time they'd ever been used, because they were brand new materials, a lot of synthetic fabrics and the like. You know, Daphne again would have been at the forefront of that, finding those new materials. Bubble wrap. I know that wasn't Daphne, but bubble wrap was one of them.
We've got this comment in the live chat as well. This isn't for Daphne, this is for us. From Jake E, who says, I just happened upon the stream a couple of pretty ladies and knowledgeable gentlemen. This is interesting. When is this stream with this roster usually on? I might have to keep it up. You keep it up, Jake. Good to have you.
Well, you can stay, Jake. You can stay.
Welcome, Jake. We're here every week.
Yeah, welcome.
Good to have you.
Whether you like it or not.
Gary. Very
ABBA of Amboys, Simon says the ABBA gags are going to keep coming. Daphne was a true genius, says Tony L. Peter Harrington advises there's an interview with Daphne Dare on the DVD talking about the 10th planet. I've not seen that.
There is.
That must have passed me by, Simon.
There is. She's legendary, but actually people don't really talk about it. We talk about, for example, Ray Cusick as the designer of the Daleks.
All the time, yeah.
We talk about other costume designers, and yet we seem to forget Daphne Dare for some reason. And I say
Forgotten no longer, thanks to Simon Horton and the Doctor Who Diary.
So happy birthday, bless her, Daphne Dare. You would have been 94 on Saturday, so we wish you happy birthday up there in the great fabric factory in the sky.
Oh.
Finally this evening, we wish very happy birthday. Also on Saturday, Beatrix Lehman would have been 120 on Saturday. Wow, what from one legend to another, from Daphne Dare to Beatrix. Wow, this woman is, in my mind, an absolute legend. We know her, of course, most for her role there as Amelia Rumford from the Stones of Blood, as seen there on the right-hand side. That's where we as Doctor Who fans know her from, and boy, is that a memorable performance. But as you can imagine, boy, did she do a lot of work. She was born in Buckinghamshire in July of 1903 and, sadly died in July of 79, aged 76. Sadly, just 8 months after the Stones of Blood had been broadcast. So she died afterwards. Yeah, it was her last but one production. She did one other television production after this, but the Stones of Blood was her last but one production. As you can see from the left-hand photo there, apparently she got on famously with Tom Baker. He absolutely adored this woman. Matthew Pounder, correct, introduced me to sausage sandwiches. That's brilliant line.
So what's Matthew, for the people out there who don't know, what's that in reference to?
It's just a beautiful scene where between the Doctor, between Romana and Amelia Rumford and Vivian Fay, and they're just talking about, sausage sandwiches. They're going to go home. They're going to go back to Vivian Fay's cottage and have sausage sandwiches. And it's just the kind of thing that you would have been having yourself on a Saturday night whilst watching Doctor Who. And it's the way she just says sausage sandwiches. Good show, Romana. She's just legendary. She's beautiful. I love her to pieces.
Doctor Who history is full of characters. I think we've been. Not every story and every time, but there's lots of adventures, particularly in the classic era, not exclusively the classic era, but I think particularly the classic era, where we had these characters who would appear sometimes for 2, 3, even one episode, who made a huge mark because they had so much personal charisma, or the character on the page was just so right for them that they immediately connected and transmitted something to the public. And Beatrix in this role was absolutely one of them, wasn't she? People talk when you think back to the Stones of Blood. This is who you think about, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Undoubtedly, she's the first name that comes to mind. Apparently, she only accepted the role in the Stones of Blood because she was intrigued. She wanted to see how K9 worked. She was just really intrigued by K9. But I say she got on famously with Tom Baker. John Leeson, apparently, she gave John Leeson, who's the voice of K9 in this story, she gave him a gift of a camera as a way of saying thanks because he took photographs of her during the shooting of the Stones of Blood. And so she gave him apparently a really old vintage camera. Louise Jameson, bless her, who wasn't obviously not in this story, but had worked at other times with Beatrix Lehman, gave a wonderful quote of Beatrix apparently once told Louise Jameson, "Never stand where you can sit, never sit when you can lie down, and never have sex with a bad actor," which is just a typically Beatrix Lehman kind of thing to say. She was an eccentric. That's the truth of it. She was an old British eccentric in the best sense of the word.
She'd been acting for decades as well, hadn't she? She was pretty much a movie star, wasn't she?
Yes, she started her career in 1935. She's got nearly 50 screen credits. She's done all manner of stuff. Yes, she's done films. She did Out of the Unknown, Paul Temple, Z-Cars, Dr. Finley's Casebook. Just a huge list of credits, mostly sort of back in sort of the 50s and 40s, 50s, 60s. And she sort of pulled back a little bit in later years. But get this. She comes from a family of artists, including painters, novelists, poets, you name it, which is just about what you'd expect for this woman. And she sat for 13 portraits, which are now housed in the National Portrait Gallery. So, she's a formidable lady. She's one of a kind.
I can't say I'm surprised with a face like that. I mean, it's so.
And I'm going to have to go. I don't want to.
Bye, Charlotte. Good night.
Thank you for your
Bye,
company.
Charlotte.
As always, Charlotte. You take care, sleep well.
See you all next week.
Catch you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And then there were 3.
Look at this face, Charlotte. Look at this face.
She always strikes me as sort of the Betty Davis of Britain, if that makes sense. The British version of Betty Davis. She's just got that look to me.
To the best of my knowledge, I've never seen any of her films, but I feel terrible about it because every time I watch The Stones of Blood, I always think I ought to go and watch some, but and yet I never do. It's.
I suspect you will have seen some of her television shows and just not read. She's one of those people that you will have seen them probably from the 60s, such as Paul Temple, Z-Cars, those kinds of things. You'd have seen them without realizing that that you're watching her, because she was very, very glamorous back in the day, as you can see from those early photos. She was glamorous. She was a glamorous lady. So I say, bless her. She would have been 120 on Saturday. So, boy, do we wish. We wish her a very, very happy birthday wherever she is now.
A genuine Doctor Who legend who made such a big impression in a really, really short time. Tony L says, "Lovely tribute to Beatrice, Simon."
You're very welcome. She's one. I remember her so well from the Stones of Blood. I just fell in love with her the minute I saw her. She's just one of those characters. Have you seen the Stones of Blood yet, Shah, or not?
Nope, not there.
The one that you've seen, you will enjoy that one. It's a cracking story, and she really just brings it to life. It wouldn't be the same. It's simple as that without her. So
I'm excited.
She was perfect opposite, the perfect opposite type character to Susan Engle's Vivian Fay. There is lots of big characters in that. Peter Harrington says, "Am I getting her mixed up with Mary Morris?"
Yes.
She built her own house in Switzerland, I think.
Mary Morris was the one who built her own house in Switzerland. Yes. So Mary Morris.
She was another kind of wrinkly silver top.
Yeah. She's very, very, very similar look. She
a gruff voice.
Yeah, she played Panna in Kinder. That's who you're thinking of, Peter. And looks very, very similar, absolutely, to Beatrix. A wrinkly golden oldie.
Beatrice has an interesting face. You notice it right away, even when she's in the background. She looks intelligent and has that gravitas. We use that word gravitas so often on this show, don't we? But it's true. There's no other. It's great. We've got to get it on shirts. Yeah.
You can imagine her in another world. If we had gone down the route of female doctors many, many, many years ago, you could imagine her playing the Doctor without any problem at all.
Great face. Everybody's saying the same thing. Great face. Yeah, and a lovely tribute. Agreed, Simon. She does resemble Betty Davis. That's caught people's imaginations as well. And TARDIS Spider says, "Just good story, Stones. Good story."
It is a good story. It is
There's no fat on that review, is there? Wonderful stuff.
Happy birthday, Beatrix. God bless her.
What a woman. And what a week. Yeah, happy heavenly birthday. That's what they're saying, isn't it? To Beatrice Lehman. And thank you again, Simon, for another roaring Doctor Who diary. If people have enjoyed it, there's no if about it. People have enjoyed it. You should see the messages here in the live chat on YouTube and Facebook. If they've enjoyed it so much, Simon, what have they got to do?
Like and subscribe.
Good, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and hit the cloister bell. Give it a little dingle there. Don't give it a big dingle, give it a big bash. I know how that sounds. Give it a big bash, and get all the notifications about what we're doing next and when we're doing it, live streams, podcasts, and everything else. With, of course, more from the Doctor Who diary. Always goes down well.
Always do a little sway when I hear that tune.
That's how it gets
you. In silence now, yeah.
That's the idea. That's how it gets you. I think what it really needs, though, is the permanent addition of Lenny's bark. I think that would top it off. Nice.
That sort of finishes it off nicely, doesn't it, Lenny's
I'm going
bark?
to have to ask you to sample it and we'll drop it in there when we do a bit of a remix, and we'll get Nelly on there permanently. Yes, if you haven't already, particularly if you've been here this long, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment about everything that we've been discussing on this edition of the show so far. My God, have we covered a lot of stuff, and we do have time for just a little bit more. But before we get into that, here's a little hello from a friend of ours. Where is he? I won't put on the one that scared Charlotte the last time. We'll go back to the cute one.
He's a legend, that kid.
He is. We've nearly forgot something. There's one more thing. This is our look at the prettiest of Doctor Who, pictures there. This is where we round it all off. A last look at the view screen, and we take a look at fan artists and fan craft. If you are a fan artist, or you know a fan artist that you think we should know about, that should be on our radar, please tell us all about them and where we can find their work. We'll get it up on screen, and we'll go over it and say whether we like it or whether we don't. We pretty much like them all. I think we're fair critics, Simon, because we just love artwork, don't we? And everything that we see, I think if it makes us feel something, if it makes us feel something of Doctor Who, whether the likenesses are perfect or the colours are perfect or not, if it evokes Doctor Who, then that's fine by me. First of all, this time we have this one. This is from Lilliput95, part of a range of cartoons that they're putting up on Instagram. This one's of Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor, with his best friend K9.
Wow.
I think this is wonderful. And he seems to be wearing Shooty Gatwa's trousers there.
Yeah, he does. He's got very, very tiny feet.
tiny and pointy. But I love how he's got his eyes sort of crossed too, and K9's look of mild despair with one ear slightly tilted.
That's really out there, isn't it? That artwork is definitely out there. That's really imaginative.
It has a slight feel of Looney Tunes about it, I think. Wile E. Coyote kind of antics. Nice choice of colours.
It's good, though, because, again, as we've said before now, this is one of those pieces of artwork that hasn't used any photographic reference whatsoever. That's just completely from that person's imagination, which is always good to see.
All reference photos are all well and good. You know, we've all used them. I'm an illustrator myself, but yeah, when people put things together like this, I just think it's wonderful. I think this would look good on a greetings card or a T-shirt or something like that. So you can go and find Lilliput95 over on Instagram to get more of that. Now, when it comes to the history of Doctor Who, there are several photographs that a lot of us have seen over and over again. And obviously, the older the episode that they're taken from, the more we've seen them. Some of them feel like old friends, don't they, Simon? And certain people amongst us in the community, the gifted people with a lot of time on their hands and a lot of patience, go back to them and bring them to life, don't they? And I think nobody does it better than Clayton Hickman, the artist and restoration expert. Now, this is his latest one. Now, have you ever seen this image before, Simon? I've seen it loads of times.
Yeah, I've seen it loads and loads of times. That's from the War Machines, isn't it? Is the War Machines?
I think it would have to be because they're in their original costumes, aren't they? Ben and Polly, Saniki Wills and Michael Craze there with William Hartnell.
I'm just trying to think that they don't appear on we don't see the inside of the TARDIS in the War Machines. So I'm just trying to think.
It would have been a publicity picture, wouldn't it? So it would just get the new companions with the Doctor on the set. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it could well be.
So this is an odd picture. I've always thought this was a little odd because there's so much space at the top, and so does Clayton Hickman. And obviously, like a lot of pictures, it's getting a bit grimy. So he went in and he colorized it here, gave it a tune-up. So what do you think of this?
Whoa! Wow. Whoa, that's cool, isn't it? Love that.
Really brought it to life. And of course, you can see all the little etchings too on the set, all the bits that maybe had been knocked about over the 3 seasons that had led up to this episode. There's some dinks. That's what they call them, isn't it? Dinks. Sure. If you went to TK Maxx, you'd say, I'm not buying that for that price. Got a couple of dinks, and you'd see those in the TARDIS stores.
I love their TK Maxx. So I do not. I always thought that Polly was pretty anyway, but I think she's lovely there.
I always thought that they were both a really, really good-looking couple.
They were, yeah.
That's
we stand
smugglers.
corrected in the live chat.
Smugglers, yeah.
It looks like it's actually from the smugglers. We've got a few people saying that.
Did wonder whether it's the smugglers, but yeah, what I like about when they colorize photos like this is that Clayton hasn't gone overboard on the color palette, because there's a temptation just to go berserk with you could have given her a red hat and all that ridiculous things. So I like the fact that it's a nice subtle color palette that just looks more convincing as a result, looks more believable.
People are loving it in the live chat on YouTube as well. This is amazing. Wow. Every time we put some of Clayton's work up on screen, people say the same things. They're usually short words with exclamation marks at the end of it. Vanessa Law wants Polly's hat.
That is a cool hat. You look good in that, Shah.
Oh, thanks. I'll keep a lookout.
So of course, so to go at this picture and to take it from this there, so not looking its best to that's one thing. But Clayton didn't stop there. He'd been slightly irritated by this picture over the years as well. How the balance, there's so much space at the top, Simon. It doesn't look quite right, as if there should be a headline there. It just doesn't look well set, well
balanced,
does it? Well balanced, well put together. So this is the first time he's ever done this. He has created more image, expanded it, and given us this.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's clever.
They've got legs.
Very, very clever. So I'm wondering what he's done to do that. Has he gone back to other reference photos and sort of done a composite of them? Or has he drawn them in? I'm really intrigued.
I think this is a combination of media. Clayton's skill set is expanding all the time. If you've ever seen some of the work he does for Mojo magazine and all those sort of classic rock magazines, retouching pictures of the Beatles and the Stones and things like that, Clayton is not just a one-trick pony. He does work outside of Doctor Who, and I think it has expanded drastically, and he's able to adapt to now create these things, to make it look like extra image, to make it look like it had always been there. We've even got cabling on the TARDIS floor there, on the studio floor.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yes, which is absolutely exactly how it would be, and you can even see just about the white the little platform that the Roundel wall would have been sitting on, so they could wheel it in and out. And I love the fact that he's given Ben a sailor's hat, because Ben was a sailor. So he put a sailor's hat in it. Love it. Brilliant.
And his Mac as well. Those were all the rage in the 60s, weren't they?
Absolutely. And there we are with the green console down. We've talked about this green console so many times. He's got so Clayton's got the correct color on the console. It's all good.
Owl Hash is flabbergasted on YouTube, watching in the comment section. It's flabbergasting in a good way. A new, and this is the thing. Gary Browser says this is a new picture, new picture from a story that's over roughly 55 years old. All down to Clayton Hickman and these mad skills. Fantastic, says the Sodor Engines. That's wonderful, says the Geeks Handbag.
Very clever.
We have Chris McKeon from Black Glove Studio in the chat, just saying hi.
Hello, Chris.
Glad to have you back there, Chris. Agreed from Ezra Goldstein. Wow, that's ace from Tony L. So people are just as impressed by this as I was. Clayton Hickman takes it next level yet again with the colorization and restoration of beautiful bits of Doctor Who history that we've seen over and over and over again, and making it seem like we're seeing them for the very first time. And crimpling doubloon with chips in with those cables. Another health and safety night. We're right back there again where we were at the top of the show with another health and safety nightmare. If you're a fan artist or you know a fan artist that you think that we'd like to see their work, please get in touch and send it our way. Give us a link to them, get in touch through our social medias, or drop us a comment too. We've got one more here as well. I couldn't not get this up because, well, it's one of our very, very favourites. Oliver Arkenstall-Jones and his pictures of evoking the spirit of old horror films, if you remember, Simon. That's very much his bag.
Yeah.
He takes classic Doctor Who stories, mostly classic Doctor Who, because he's done some new ones as well, and makes them look like 1970s movies, adding the lines that you get where they've been folded up, the old quad posters, and making them look just painted and beautiful and lovely, and with with all the apt typography too, nicely balanced. He's been back to the Tom Baker era, the Philip Hinchcliffe era, which I suspect is his favourite. Are you going to guess which story is covered in his latest painting, Simon?
I'm trying to think which ones he hasn't done. What hasn't he? He hasn't done the Tunnels of Wen Chiang, has he?
I think he has. I think
okay, I'll give in then. I could go through every Tom Baker story.
Well, this time, it involves a lighthouse.
Oh, Horrifying Rock. Oh, it's not Philip Hinchcliffe then. It's Graham Williams.
Oh, sorry for misleading you there.
That's all right. I nearly said Horrifying Rock. He told me that because it's Graham Williams. But my God, that's brilliant. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's just brilliant, isn't it? That's
bright green. How evocative is it?
Mm-hmm. That's one of his best so far. I absolutely love that. I put that on my wall. Because you're right. It's good, isn't it?
Words straight out of my mouth. I would have that framed on my wall, 100%.
Yeah.
As a movie poster. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And you want to see the movie of that, don't you? I actually want to see that as a movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that'd be great.
We always say the same thing when we get Oliver's work up on screen, because he does sell prints and posters. I think he's got an Etsy store, so you can find his work there. And obviously he's got an Instagram account, a Twitter account as well, so you can go and check out all the ones that he's done so far. He's definitely into double figures. There's a lot. Fantastic, says Peter Harrington. Love it.
Green Heart, yes, very good.
Says Richard Brooks. Fabulous, says Crimpling Doubloon. It always plays well. They're always great ones to end the show on. It would be a Certificate X2. Haha, says Gary Browser. Peter Harrington loves the lettering as well. It's absolute magic. And if you want to go and find Oliver's work, go and look him up on social media and tell him that Type 40 Live sent you. I'm sure he'll be pleased to sign up another one and hit you right between the eyes with more amazing artwork evoking those classic stories and sometimes new stories too. I think he did Voyage of the Damned quite recently. So yeah, he does like the new stuff as well, but it's mostly the old. We've got a comment here. We can't pick up on this, but we have this now and again. We've done this several times. We may do it again. Jake, there's no time to do this at the moment. Sorry, first time here. What's your favourite Doctor Who decade and TARDIS team?
Oh, brilliant. Can't we just very quickly say, we won't go into any details at all. Jake, mine would be the 70s and the favourite TARDIS team would be Sarah and Harry with the Fourth Doctor. There we go.
Sure.
Having grown up with New Who, it would have to be the noughties, specifically 2008 was my favourite year of Doctor Who. But I love Matt Smith, so anything from I think 2010, I want to say, to 2012, I adore as well. So yeah, but I'm sure we've got so many videos, streams where we've done this, but I'm sure we can do a whole video on that, and it lasts for hours. So
what about yours, Sam?
I think as it's the 60th anniversary year, it could be worth revisiting this at some point, either on the live stream or the podcast.
Good idea.
It could be fun, obviously, because there's been 6 decades of Doctor Who, and our tastes do change as regards a lot of things. Mine, God, what were we saying the other day when we were out for our meal, Shah, about being terrible, choosing, can't decide? I'm very much like that when it comes to particularly my favourite decade, because I properly grew up in the 1980s, and I love 80s Who, and that's a terribly unfashionable thing to say. It's been unfashionable all my life, but I do love 80s Who. But which is my favourite decade? I can't possibly. I need to really think about that, because I love the noughties as well. The Eccleston and Tennant here. It was so exciting a time to be a Doctor Who fan. So I'm going to have to get back to you on that as regards TARDIS. Yes, seriously, I cannot decide as regards TARDIS teams. Again.
Oh, TARDIS.
No, come to the wrong bloke. But maybe the Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric. Could be in with a shout there, but I have to be honest, Jake. Ask me the same question tomorrow. I'll give you something different.
I want to go through.
So, it'll be the Doctor, Bill, and Nardole. It could be anybody.
It is a cracking question, and we could do an entire show on that one question alone.
We really could.
We do have more 60th anniversary live streams coming up. Lots more deep dives, and we'll be cherry picking from our memories and our very distinctive takes on the 60-year TV history of Doctor Who. We can guarantee you that we've done, what was it we've done? We've done Doctor Who Confessions back early in the year, and then we did the Doctor Who Moments too a few weeks ago. That was a real giggle. So we're going back. We've got another couple of those brewing up, so you're going to have to stay subscribed.
I'm just gonna say goodbye, but I'll be back. But I will be back. But I think by the time we might have gone,
Terminator style.
I was about to say thank you. I was about to say thank you for joining us on this edition of the show, Shah. There, and yeah, if you've enjoyed it just as much as we have, and why wouldn't you? Please get in touch with us through our social media. That's Instagram and Twitter at Type 40 Doctor Who. And if you're feeling particularly brave, you can come and join us too in the Type 40 Facebook groups. That's where you'll find regenerations worth upon regenerations worth of Doctor Who fans from the classic era and the new era, celebrating the last 60 years, and lots of people looking forward to all new Doctor Who. What's to come in the future with Ncuti Gatwa from 2024. So get together with us there and join the fun. More Type 40 Live coming at you in just 7 days' time with another panel of pundits here and companions celebrating the anniversary. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? What will they be doing out on the streets? Will they have ditched the scooter, the Vespa for some? What will they'll be riding around on this time next week, Simon? I can't imagine.
Who knows? Will they have changed colour from orange to pink, for example? We've had a lot of orange.
The possibilities are endless. Thanks again to everybody there in the live chat for joining us. Let's take one last look. What have we got? I love the Tennant years. People are really taking the bait here, Jake.
Yeah,
they're going to be here all night.
I'm just looking at. There's so many comments about the TARDIS teams in particular.
People want Shah to come back. She'll be back. She'll be back in a moment. People. The TARDIS teams are coming thick and fast.
Oh, Vanessa, the first Doctor with Ian and Barbara and Susan. Wow, one of the best. Love it.
Peter Harrington nails it with it's a difficult question to answer. It is. If you're me, I find that very, very difficult because my tastes, they do change all the time. And I wouldn't say that my favourites are the ones that I'm watching at the time. I think that always sounds a little cheesy. But most of them do hit pay dirt. I think they do. Some sooner than others. But most of them, they do find one another. It does gel. So that's why I find it so hard. Doctor Who has been blessed with an incredible regular cast, stretching over most of the years of its life in the original production and the new production. So I think we can only hope that Millie and Ncuti, if they can manage sort of 50% of that in the first series, then the series will be in safe hands. Obviously, it's far too early to say. Okay, yes. Thanks again to the two Charlottes, to Shah and to Charlotte Shields for their great company tonight, and to everybody watching along there in the live chat on YouTube and Facebook. Please like the video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's coming next. We always have the time here. No, we don't. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 Live, don't we, Simon?
We indeed do. Take care, everybody. Thank you for all the comments in the chat again. We love them. We read them all. I say this every week, but we do. Thank you for them. Brilliant.
Everybody. We'll catch you again later.
Bye-bye.